Thank you.
Five.
And there's a customary 5.
Cheers, friends.
Nenner says 5 means we're live, and we are indeed live. I am forgetting how to do things because we're doing Interest of Cheese. But hold
Words
on.
is hard.
Words is hard. Happy Saturday. We're having a very chill night where we're just gonna have some sort of D&D questions, and we might play a little actually later because I need to initiate Jasmine. She's never played. Which, by the way, we have a freaking special guest. And I'm not gonna start with you introducing yourself because I feel like that's mean. So I'm gonna start with myself. Hello, I'm Foos. I usually DM on Saturdays, which is today, playing Difficult Terrain, but I'm also in all of Nenner's cookie projects, in which he in various ways tries to murder me as often as he can, and yeah, it's a good time. I'm going to pass it off to Nenner so he can introduce himself and what he does besides.
I'm Nenners. I DM Wednesdays and Fridays. I do try to kill Foozca, though she has a higher kill count than I do, so I don't know why she's complaining. I'm often a victim on Saturday of her campaigns, and that's pretty much it. On the Foozca Discord, and when Flandy comes back from killing Bandersnatches abroad, I'll be on his Twitch channel occasionally, probably getting our asses kicked, trying to do something we're not supposed to do in a game. Joe! Go.
I just want to say it's rich to say that you're often trying. Nenners is trying to. You actually killed us.
Correct. I'm just trying to throw some shade in Nenners' way.
You put the K in TPK.
Wait, okay.
A week ago.
I don't know why my brain only heard the T part. And I was like, that means team. Oh.
Words is hard. I'm Joe. I think I'm pretty officially just here now. I've been successfully kidnapped. It's great.
Yeah.
I'm happy to be here. We have a lot of fun. But when I'm not hanging out on the Foozca channel, I'm on Dispel Logic. We're on Sundays. We play Dungeons and Dragons. We let out ancient evils, and then we realize we don't know how to stop them, and then we just can't go from there. So come check that out, maybe. And in the meantime, be here because we're doing something. We're gonna talk and games, and I'm gonna trail off and let Maya talk just whenever she feels like jumping in. Because I get quieter, fading out.
Note the dark background behind Joe. There's plenty of cheese, and that is because Nenners kidnapped him and threw him into a place that only has cheese and nothing else.
I just threw him in a trunk full of cheese.
No.
It's very thematic.
No.
This is how Nenners do.
It's a good plan.
Yeah. I am a Maya. I should probably say that correctly. I am Maya, as in a Maya, like a unit of Mayas. That is what I am. You can
Maya,
catch
10 out
me
of 10 Maya.
on this channel, doing Difficult Terrain, and that's run by Foos, as I'm sure many of you know, and Legacy, and Kill Team, and Bygone Keep, and probably others run by Nenners. He runs a lot. I have almost been killed by Foos numerous times, but none of my characters have been killed by Foos entirely. The same cannot be said for most of the people here. So
I feel like we'll have backup characters.
It's messed up that I'm new and I've already been killed more than you have.
I also. All right, hold on. Also, kill counts. I think this is the first time I've ever killed Nenners, to be honest. Any of your characters, right?
Yes, I've successfully avoided death.
Correct.
I was killed so quick, my character died before I started playing them.
Oh, that's sad.
Anyway, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
You ever be dead before you get to the table?
Oh,
to continue, I am also the creative mind behind Abella Nights, which was plugged in the Twitch chat. It's a sci-fantasy tabletop setting that blends several.
Yo, when's our interview? Stop ducking me. When is this happening?
Maybe you're not a candidate.
Aren't you kind of the one that determines when that is, though?
All right.
Not in the next 2 weeks, I'll tell you that.
It's gonna be in a freaking hotel in California next week. We'll figure it out. That's where I'm gonna be. Stop yelling at me. Go ahead.
But yeah, I do that thing, and now I'm gonna pass it over to a lovely new guest.
I am
Part of the
Jazzy.
family.
I was also kidnapped by the Foos. I am a figment of your imagination sometimes because I'm like almost never here. I campaign with them, or at least I used to, quite often in Legacy and Difficult Terrain, and a couple of others over the years, so to speak. And Foozie's my bestie. Yeah, Foozie's my bestie and my sister, and Nenners is also my brother by association. And that's pretty much it. I don't have much else.
Damn.
Jazzy, DJ, Jazzy Jeff. That's pretty much it.
DJ Jazzy Jeff, yes. Jazzymandius, often for me. With all of our introductions done, we're gonna just kind of like shoot some D&D questions around the group, and everybody can answer. I normally, like the last few times we've been using dice rolls to dictate who goes first, which will mean that all of you will need to be in Twitch if you get a chance, because we'll just do the dice rolls there. We'll see who goes first for each of these questions. But I will go grab my questions now, and we'll start off with some longer form ones. Hold on, Flandy just messaged me, and it's a picture of his mustache. Okay, thank you, Flandy.
He's proud of it, like he should be.
I wanted to go check, and it's just like his mustache. Thanks, Flandy. You're very kind. That totally derailed me. I have to go find.
You're
my
just jealous.
Now. Okay.
Oh, God.
I'm
I mean,
jealous. I'm
mustache
not a mustache fan. Okay, so our first question is going to be. It doesn't necessarily need to be your favorite, but if you do have a favorite, what is your favorite D&D monster? Whether you've encountered one, or it was just cool in your mind, whatever that might be, or whether maybe you put it or played it against your players. What is your favorite D&D monster? So in our Twitch chat for rolling of the dice, type /dice_20 for everybody here, and then it should roll out. I got a 1. I got a natural 1 on my first. We're good. I'll be last. Then you pinned it. Get out of here.
You said slash. I did slash.
Exclamation point. I apologize. Dink. Okay, there you go. 17, 9. 18 from Maya. Let's go.
This is uncharacteristic. It's the opposite in Roll20. I don't know what this is.
What do I type again?
Exclamation point dice space 20.
Below the expected average for rolling. That's where I'm at.
Don't worry, man. I got dead ass last, so you're good. Let's see.
Like-
Hey, Mark. Yeah, actually, Mark was watching us early enough to remember Jazzymandius. So
Oh yeah,
she's back. Yeah, exactly.
She's back like
so
she
Mark
forgot
Suggs
something.
remembers.
It's not letting me because I'm not signed
Okay.
in.
That's okay. That's fine. Don't worry. We can. We'll get to you before.
I can
these,
see
because
it. Like
rolled
I
a
can see the
natural one.
screen. But
Okay,
I'm
no
not-
worries then. Which means I
You can
believe
roll
Maya.
for me.
Actually, no, yeah, that's true. I'll roll for you too. Let's see. If I get a freaking 1 again, I swear to 17. All right, that means I tied with someone, didn't I?
Okay, cool.
With Joe. Well, you'll go right after Joe then. So, Maya, what is your favorite D&D monster?
I don't know.
Or shout out.
I don't
The
know.
one that you liked.
I mean, I like a lot of them, and I don't like some of them. This isn't something I've ever thought about, Foos.
Well, you're thinking about it
I know.
now.
That's the idea.
Now you're supposed to think about it.
Exactly.
I'll Silver Dragon. I don't know. Like, I feel
How often are you fighting good aligned dragons?
Yeah, I was like, silver dragons are good. Why don't you like them?
What?
How about
No.
one that you've encountered as a player that, as an enemy, you thought
You know
was
what?
interesting?
Nah, not as an enemy, because then they wouldn't be my favorite. Owlbears. Owlbears are great. I met
Okay.
one. He was blue.
Sure.
I like him
Yes.
a whole lot. Great owlbear. Runner up, Boulay. Boulets are great. You should try to be a boulet sometime. It's a wonderful time. No bias detected.
Aw.
There's no reason.
I
that
only have
those
one.
two are my favorite. I just, you know.
Anita asked why silver dragons.
Yeah.
What?
Why not?
Anita is
copper or
asking you
gold?
questions.
I mean,
Oh, jeez.
I don't know.
I think Maya's
Kurt-
still mourning Terendelev.
Because
Yeah, she-
Poor Maya. Short circuiting.
All I know is if you prefer silver dragons, when my ranger eventually shows up, we'll be pals. Unlike my character introduced yesterday.
Hell,
that
you
nobody
might
liked.
be useful against the soul dragon fight. That's gonna be great.
to be honest, like silver dragons, since they're kind of like they seem like the very chill, like agreeable, like cool dragons to like get along with, you know, hang out
What you got
with.
against the blue ones?
Some of the other dragons are pretty rigid, you know,
I mean-
like
Blue are a little. Well, all right, we'll get to that later.
I don't know. Man. Look,
That is
all
good
right,
job. I'm so proud of you.
about a lot. All right, so I'm just gonna go with owlbears and boulets
Okay.
for non-obvious
I love it.
reasons.
I love it. That brings us to Joe.
Trying to think back on some of the memorable stuff that we fought. It's hard to pick. I will stall for time and just say it was inherently sexist of you to put me before the other person that rolled a 17
That's-
simply because I'm a man. Maybe it was racist, but I don't know.
Unbelievable.
It was due to technical difficulties, and you technically rolled first.
I don't know. Foos has a history with these sort of things.
Oh my god.
Shit. Yeah, no, I mean, I was sitting here telling you to find a preference, but I've been sitting in the background quietly like, hell, what do I like?
Yeah.
Zombies are always memorable because they pop their asses back up, so they just are fights that stick with you because they just never end. We fought like I don't know if it was an ancient green dragon, but it was a memorable green dragon in one instance.
Why was it memorable?
Just because it was real big, and then the artificer turned its bones into a weapon that I got to use. So it did poison
Dang.
damage because that's what green dragons do. And you know what's immune to poison? Basically everything. at
Everything
high
in
level.
D&D. Yeah.
So I was like, well, this is a real cool scythe against everything we're not fighting.
Everything in Pathfinder too.
Oh god, I don't even know if it's a legit stat block monster, and I don't remember the name of it, but it was basically a giant anglerfish. Like, I think it might actually been giant in D&D categories. So we were underwater fighting a giant, like ethereal, almost blinking in and out anglerfish, and then we sent it back to hell or wherever it came from. It was fun times. But I don't have one in particular that I'm like, yeah, this one, that's dope.
Hey, listen, you got me on the spot. Can I honorable mention mimics?
Oh,
Sure, yeah,
Because they're
absolutely.
hilarious.
They
They're
are
hilarious.
hilarious.
I love the idea of just like you sit on a chair and then it eats you. Like,
I'd also
I
say,
agree.
as far as antagonists, rather than monsters, I could prefer as much as the Bobard is a cheating bastard, the people like that, because they're more, it's a thinking person entity with goals and ideals, whether you understand them or not, and they're more fun to interact with.
Mhm. I can
Makes sense.
understand.
I
that.
think I've run out of words.
Okay, Jazzy, that means it's your turn.
yeah. Question: is it specific to any campaign or just in general?
In general, just across the board.
Oh, so probably I'm guessing between Beholder and Illithid, which just simultaneously has to do with legacy. I just find them terrifying because they make you question your reality on many fronts, and I think the truest horror has to be psychological horror at the end of the day, and you know, they can eat your brain and all that good stuff as well. And yeah, it's just true horror to me.
All that
Oh.
good stuff.
All that good stuff.
All of that.
Love it.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. I don't really know what else to say.
No, you're good. That brings us to Nez.
She literally picked my top two. That's what she said. I was like, damn.
They're just gonna hate me.
Yeah, no, Illithids are my honestly my number one, just because of the they're obviously alien. They can take like it's the body horror thing where like not only can they eat your brain, but they can like take you over. Like when and I think the Elder Brain Dragon, I think, is one of the best like fucking looking monsters ever. Just because it's so horrifying, like what they've done to this like otherwise very powerful and in some cases majestic creatures. So they have all these subplots. They're probably smarter than you. You can get stunned. You get to watch your teammates get their brains extracted. Like it's a bad scene anytime you're in there. And I love everything about them. But I kind of also
dragon is the thing that Foos stole all the limbs from in Legacy.
No, that was just the.
No.
That was a different one. That was just an illithid infected dragon. The Elder Blade Dragon was the one you guys fought right before you got to Hermitage.
Did she delimb that one too?
No, not really.
We like shot that one to death because we were on
Beholder.
the ship.
I love Beholders because they're so like it's their arrogance is to the point where it affects reality.
Yeah,
and I think that's hysterical. And they have all these like weird little like. I like that they have these this extreme paranoia and fatal flaws, but at the same time they usually have some kind of like knick-knack or something that they're fascinated with, and it's like they're very childlike almost in a way. Which I enjoy. And then obviously as a DM, it's always fun to be like, well, I got 35 lasers. Who's up next?
Yeah.
Just start zapping people to death.
Did we just pick the same ones? I like
Yeah,
your
that's what I said,
explanation
so we have the exact
Yeah.
same ones. I don't.
Well,
I mean, if I had to
exactly.
pick one after that, maybe a Rakshasa.
Rakshasa
Just
are
because
fun.
they are very fucking schemy, and like I've said many times, you're gonna have 13 fights before you actually get to him. And half of those fights are either going to be innocent people who got brainwashed, don't know what side they're on. Like there's always collateral damage with them, and it's so much fun to play those.
Yeah.
Anywho, that's my extremely long, unnecessarily numbered favorite and bad guys.
It was not extremely long, Nunners. I'm very proud of you. I was like cringing the whole time because as soon as you started talking about the Elder Brain Dragon, I was like, that was my choice. As soon as I fucking read this question, I was like, that one. Because when it did its fucking breath fucking weapon, we were pelted with little illithid fucking tadpoles and shit, and they'd stick onto you. So regardless of the damage you were getting hit with the breath weapon from a dragon, you were getting pelted with little fucking sucker asshole little like tadpoles. It was the nastiest shit in the world, but like it genuinely, like I think in general, just because like we grew up with video games and stuff, there's a lot of stuff that I'm like desensitized to. So if there's just like general violence, I'm like, good, par for the course. But like that was one of the times where I was like, can you imagine being drenched in this like acidic blood and then having little things just like squiggling all around your body that are like, you know, trying to stick to you essentially with their lamprey mouths. And I was like, no, this is some horrific shit.
They're not trying to stick to you. They're trying to find entry.
Correct, exactly. They're trying to find entry. This is nasty. Oh god, yeah. That was one of the times where like thinking about it from the character's position to be like, maybe it's time to retire. Should I be done? This is some horrific shit. I'm like fighting right now. It's too much. Exactly. One thing that I as a DM got to play that I enjoyed that I don't know if I'm pronouncing it correctly because I don't know if I've seen anyone else play it was the Balhanath. When you guys were in the Shadowfell, that was the creature that was like stuck to the ceiling that was basically projecting illusions to make you go to the wrong door. So when you were going after Cosvena, you accidentally took that door instead. And it was like attached to the ceiling, but it like could move around up there. And it was essentially just like had all these tentacles that it was grabbing people with and trying to like pull you in. And it was interesting because like the monster itself, if I remember correctly, is a little more like monstrous. Like even though it has psionic abilities, it's not like terribly smart, as weird as that sounds. So it was an interesting fight just because it could do like illusion magic and kooky shit, but at the same time it was like I'm just trying to om somebody, you know. All I want to do is eat. So that was actually a fun it was a one-off fight, but I had a lot of fun with that one.
This is where it started, where
what started,
where we began to ask Ninners to start to create an anti-mouth field spell.
Oh yeah, because it bit the shit out of Irene, I think, if I remember correctly, or was trying to, and you were like, "We need to stop."
Trying to get everybody.
Yeah. I think a lot of people have been eaten in my campaign.
I should also.
No, I was saying, have any of us died yet? I've been on a bit of a hiatus.
Well, I mean,
I've died in
Brophy
that
died.
campaign twice.
Brophy died. Rylan died. Being
That's right, I do remember Brophy.
chewed on, but was resurrected.
No, Rylan ended up dying. Oh,
He's back. He's
Uh,
fine. He died
okay.
briefly.
He was trying to cover
was
up
a
the
brief
crime.
death.
He
He was a
absolutely
river
died.
fire. He was fine.
100%.
Got
That was a
back up
corpse
into
that
this
came
bitch.
out. Yeah. Yep.
I like we talk about it often, but like it still broke my heart at that moment because I knew he was fine because I know that Dubs, the cleric, was at like almost full hit points, shit ton of spell slots because he's a war cleric, so he never cast spells. Always had Revivify ready. So like I knew he was fine, but Flandy did not think he had it. So he was like, I'm dead. And like he actually turned the camera away from him because he was like, I'm very upset, but this is also awesome. And he was typing to me, and I'm like, sorry, man. And I couldn't tell him that. I was like, you'll be fine. You'll be fine. But yeah, that was kind of sad, but I was like, everything's fine. It'll be fine. Just give him a few moments. When Codrono's gonna get there, he'll be fine. He'll pop back up like a daisy. Everything will be fine.
Sometimes you die.
Don't
That
worry.
was,
We'll let you get eaten again another day. It's fine.
You will. Oh yeah, he died by eating. That's true. He did. He was eaten, and that's how he died.
I do want to circle back and mention
Yeah, sorry,
the
go.
scorpions turned into demon rats because I had a lot of fun as Noel talking to rats
Mm-hmm.
with their little tiny
Actually-
helmets.
Yes. That was fun in general. Noel in general was just such a fun character. I think it was.
I mean,
No.
I wasn't fishing for compliments there. I was just saying I had fun with those rats.
No, I know you weren't, but it felt. It just reminded me of how fun of a character. All those characters were awesome. Anyway, we're going to move on from this question. Hold on, let me grab my next one. Nubs is cleaning himself, and all I can smell is his breath, which is not pleasant, unfortunately. Where the heck? Pardon me, I lost where I was. I have a really, really long list, and I never clear it out. I keep all of them for no reason. Oh, okay. This is kind of like an out there question. Sort of. Some people might have very firm questions or answers for this, and others it might just be like, this will never happen. But I have ideas, I suppose. If you were to DM a campaign, and for like Nenners and I, it would basically be like a new campaign, essentially. What do you think you would like focus on, essentially? How would you run it? What themes might it have? Would it be D&D? Just sort of out there questions. But we'll have to roll again just to see who's going to answer in what order. And also, Maya, is it very hot? I see you fanning yourself.
It feels nice.
Oh, okay. Oh my god, I rolled an 18.
I'm not super hot. It's just
Mm-hmm.
it's just real nice. It's not breathing.
Oh my god, we're actually rolling really well this time around.
There we go.
Try-
Now it reflects who we really are.
Should I roll for you again, Jazzy?
yes, please.
Oh no, it doesn't. This is
I'm
still
not
in
logged in.
that
I can see everything, but I'm just not logged in. So it's like
No, you're good. Don't worry.
Here's the
Don't worry. Joel, and then Maya, and then Nennis at the bottom. Wait, this one's Jasmine Andius. That was a 6. So you're at the bottom actually now. So I guess I get started. And to answer your question, Mark, there are questions that we take from people in the Interest of Cheese Discord, but if you're here and you're chatting, you can just type a question into chat and we'll answer it. Anyway, this is kind of like future plans, I guess, because I rolled the highest, I believe, at an 18. Yes. I think my next campaign, if I were to, would, I think, like, strangely enough, be a little more world travel-y, because I know my first 2 campaigns that I created, which was the Elkheim one and then this one, I very much loved the idea of like keeping you guys mostly centered in one location, and to like really just get to know and love or hate, the people you were around, and kind of like figure out what's going on in that specific space. I think the next one I would like to explore like various different locations, whether they're all homebrew or it's around Toril or whatever it might be. So like just from a very overview perspective, I think that's something I would explore for my next campaign. Yeah. Because actually for Nenners we do travel around a bit too. Like not only from like city to city, but even like planes and stuff. We're going to different places, and a lot of what I'm doing is like the city, which I'm happy with too. I don't want to say like it sound like I don't like it, but that's probably what I would change or do next differently. Yes, Joe.
It's an interesting question because I don't really run stuff. I've run a couple modules. That's probably the answer. Is like, hey, we need somebody to run something. All right, I guess I can be persuaded. People are nice enough to run games for me. It's only fair. And then I'll get a module together. So I've run some games of Mothership, and I have a D&D module I ran part of because it didn't get to the end, set in a very Egypt-themed city. But I guess the answer is if I was going to just make a campaign, it would be like, I don't know, what trope sounds fun? And we would just lean into something hard. Cool. This is going to be a heist movie game. So we're going to lean hard into everything. If it belongs in a heist movie, it's in this game and it's going to be over the top. We're going to lean into it. Or you guys want to do just be a whole game about the arena fight. And we're going to basically, you're all going to be pro wrestlers and you're going to be over the top personalities. Whatever it is, we're just going to dial it up to 110. I don't have a specific thing. And I don't know if it'd be D&D. I like D&D, and I know D&D, so it'd be easy to run. But I also like I want to say it's from the 80s. It's the Marvel RPG system. It's a D100 system, and it's super fun. And nobody plays it, so it would probably be that. Mostly, I like just generating superheroes with it because you just roll a bunch of dice. Be like, yeah, I have this disjointed, weird collection of powers, but now we got to make a theme around it. But yeah, that's that. Those are the words.
The literal only reason I know about the Marvel one is because when I would go to the brick and mortar shop for tabletop stuff, I would see the minis for the Marvel stuff and the placemats and stuff for the games, and I was like, I didn't know this was a thing. I only knew about it because of walking into that store. But yeah, I haven't seen it run, but I've heard that it's fun. So yeah. Maya.
Hello. So, fantasy is not my native genre, believe it or not, even though you all see me in fantasy disproportionately to my actual interest in the genre. That doesn't mean I hate it. It's just more like, it's not my native. Sci-fi is. And I wouldn't be creating a whole ass setting if I wasn't planning to run games in it. Technically, I would love to be a character, just not be the GM for once, but here we are. But that being said, whether it's in D&D or in my own setting or in another setting, one of the things I like to do is just get maybe 4 or 5 different types of scenarios together and then let players vote on where it's going to start and then build around that. And, just kind of get into my players' heads and figure out what sort of adventure they're looking for, figure out the personalities in the room, and then try to build something that, either works with that, or if it's a playtest, then to build something that tests it, but in an interesting way. But yeah, that's my answer. I realize that's a bit cut and dry, but there it is.
No, it's all good. Nanners. The man with way too many plans.
Way too many plans. What do I want to run next? That's the question. There is, like Maya, I have a very strong affinity for sci-fi. It's just, I guess, you know what? If it wouldn't be in D&D, I don't get me wrong. I think 5e is great. It's amazing for letting new players in. You can do all kinds of cool stuff. But I think Foozca and I have both gotten to the point where it's we're adding shit in because it doesn't have as much complexity as we would like. And a system that could use that well, I think, is either Pathfinder or Starfinder to a degree. Just because of the sheer amount of fantasy we do. I love Pathfinder. I think it'd be dope, and I have an idea for what I'd want to do with it. But it's a toss-up between Shadowrun and Starfinder. Shadowrun is really the only reason why I'm not even considering it seriously is because I heard the 6th edition is terrible in terms of all the rules and nobody likes it, and it's this whole.
We
disaster.
saw them character sheets.
We saw you're thinking of the Cyberpunk one. The other one is just I don't know. I that world to me is super dope, and I think it's an easier jump for most people because it's got elves and dwarves and all that stuff. It's got, it's a very relatable scene, and it doesn't take much for somebody to jump. I think Starfinder is a hard jump because it's like you're not familiar with the technology. There's like 1,000 different aliens. Like, I almost feel like you need like required reading before you get into one of these campaigns. But long story short, it would either be Starfinder or some like modded version of Shadowrun. That's what I would be doing.
Have you looked at the Star Wars RPG as using it as bones for a sci-fi setting? It's pretty darn good.
Hot take. I kind of fell out of love with Star Wars.
Like I said, you don't use the setting, but the rules.
Ryan Johnson, I hope you burn in the deepest bowels of hell. But I grew up with Star Wars. Like, my whole family loves Star Wars. My mom saw it a million times in theater. I've seen all of them pretty much, and I like it to a degree, but I wouldn't want to role play in there. Like, I want to be
don't use the setting
somewhere else.
But in particular, the bones they have for like ship-to-ship combat is well thought out.
Okay, yeah. That's the thing. Naval themes. I love ships.
Yeah, that's
so
true.
Speaking of, as when Maya was talking, I was like, pirates. Why didn't I say pirates? The answer is pirates.
Yeah, pirates is great, but yeah, like any kind of ship-based anything, because it's like, I don't know, there's an intimate thing with ships that people end up getting. It's your home, it's your weapon in some cases. There's so much thing that you'd have to like contend with. Ships like Serenity style, like just like you're a crew, you each have your job, shit hits the fan, you're doing stuff. Like, anyway, I'm done. That's a long answer.
Poor Dennis. It's like, I'm done. I'm sorry. It's okay. Jazz Mandis, I don't know if you'll have a super clear answer on this, but to the best of your ability, if you have a.
I mean, I don't know. I've never run anything specifically. I guess everybody here has technically been DM except me. I'm still kind of exploring everything, but for sentimental reasons, I think I would probably stick to D&D, just because there's a lot of like nostalgia involved with it, and that like personal attachment to it. Theme-wise, I think my top 2 tiers are always going to be like sci-fi and fantasy. Fantasy a little more trumps sci-fi, just because I like to be a fairy princess in all of the ways. I like having reasons to do so. And be like, look how sparkly I am. Just any reason to throw glitter in your face is I'm in. And I mean, I don't know how else I would really answer it. I think I'm mostly still exploring. I'm not really much of an expert, and as long as you're still having fun and exploring different themes and everybody involved is kind of like, just learning together, or even just expanding reality or thinking about different like alternatives to things. I think that's pretty much it for me. I mean, as long as we're all in, we're all having fun. Pretty much it.
Yeah, and that also goes to say, like, the DM, I know there's the expectations of, like, they have to know all the rules and blah, blah, blah. And, like, it doesn't necessarily need to be that way. Like, I've seen a few, like, many, actually, where the DM was like, I don't know, fuck it, let's go. Or, like, or I don't know, no, how about no?
Yeah.
Like, because essentially the GM or DM, whatever you're playing, they're guiding the story. It doesn't necessarily mean they need to know everything.
Yeah.
So as long as everyone's on the same page about that, and there's like, a lightheartedness to it, then like you could have a GM who knows very little, like still run a game. So it can definitely still be fun.
Essentially, the best aspect of it is it's just like a group storytelling. If you're really like dumb it down to basic terms, we're all storytelling together, and we're all just goofing off, and who can add to the story to make it better or worse. Like, it's just interesting. So I think that like integrated team effort of just goofing off and seeing, like, picking everybody's mind and whatnot, it's just a lot of fun.
Yep.
As long as it stays up, I'm in. Otherwise, I'm like, I got some shit to do. Oh, baby, the void.
Clearly, the answer is everybody buys like all 15 or 19, how many books Rift Worlds has, because they were just like, let's just shove every possible genre into one game. And then if you're like, well, this isn't what we like, you just hop into a portal and go to another genre and you're fine.
There you go.
Oh my god.
It's sci-fi, it's fantasy, it's all of it.
It's everything. All right. I think that's all for this question. I think everyone answered it. So my next one that was actually submitted by someone, and I didn't write down who it was, so I apologize. But someone put this in our Discord a little while ago, and I apologize. I don't know who it was. I'm sorry. What was your most memorable critical failure roll? So Nat 1 roll, what was a memorable one? It says most memorable, but I guess for this we could just say like anything that comes to mind. So let's roll to see what order we'll be rolling or answering this in. I'm actually trying to think of a Nat 1 situation for myself.
Can't make me, but Fools I rolled like 200 of them.
What'd you say?
Many.
Can't make me bet when I rolled like 200 of those things.
I feel like you don't roll a ton of Nat 1s. I think you just there's one right there.
What you saying, Fool? Say it. No, finish the thing. Finish
I
the
was
thing.
saying,
Where was you going
I feel
with
like
that?
you don't roll a lot of Nat 1s. Is all I'm saying. All right.
What that is? Well, what that is in the Twitch.
I don't know why I rolled so high again. I don't know if I can think of one. Hold on. I'm trying to think of a Nat 1 that I rolled that was very memorable.
He's out here lying, pretending I don't roll ones.
Okay, Dennis, do you remember one that a natural one that I rolled that was very memorable? I'm trying to remember.
That you rolled?
Yeah.
They're hard to remember, I think, because we do them so often. Is that bad or
I
what?
certainly do plenty.
I feel like I always roll natural ones when it's like
Important.
relatively inconsequential. No, like when it's
No.
like history check and I'm like, don't know. It's never like
The hard part is basically you roll in that one. It's like, okay, whatever you didn't work. So it's
I think the
usually
issue with,
I missed is most of my nat ones.
especially with Ravaya, she's so built for a certain scenario that if it's important, she probably has advantage on it, and that makes it tough to get a nat 1 on.
I feel like your
Right,
nat
exactly.
ones are either Muddy trying to block something with a shield for a death save, or Ravaya trying to talk to
I have 2 that Flandy did that I will never forget.
Oh my god,
But,
Flaney has so many nat ones that cracked me the fuck
Yeah.
up. Okay, anyway, they're not nat ones, but just because Maya brought it up, it just reminded me of it, so I have to bring it up. I guess just in general, we'll talk about like low rolls, isn't it? Nat ones, but if you do have nat 1, great. But Moody in fucking the Bygone Keep cannot. I think you've given me like at least 9 deck saves, and I think I passed 1. Like, granted, my bonus to it is not great, but my god, I could not save on a deck save at any point in time. The entire like centaur fight, I was just getting run over the whole time. Just like getting my ass rocked the whole time. Again, I don't think any of them were natural ones, but that was particularly funny to me just because of like, no, I'm not gonna pass any of these. I'm just gonna get run over every time. So yeah, I think that's it for me. Unfortunately, I can't think of a nat 1 otherwise. I'll keep thinking just in case it pops in my head. But Joe, I believe you're next with your roll.
With an 8? Wow. Yeah, I guess so. I'm trying to think of any specifically that were nat 1s. I can't remember if they were nat 1s, but they almost certainly were because I'm me and I rolled low all the time. But at the very least, there were some low rolls. 2 specific events in a one-on-one campaign. I've got a rogue that came into a place and started just working his way up to build his own group and then take out the opposition. And in one town, a merchant refused to negotiate, and that was offensive to me. It wasn't that his prices were high, it was just that he wouldn't haggle at all. So I murdered him and then tried to get away with his cart, but I couldn't stealth my way out of a paper bag, so I had to just flee, and the town guard got all of his shit and put it in lockup. So then I had to come back and steal his shit out of lockup because, again, principle, I earned it by killing him. But more low rolls meant that we had, like, on the second floor of, like, the jail area, there was, like, a catwalk, so I was fighting this guy on a catwalk, and at one point fell off of it and was hanging off of my garrote wire around his neck. So I don't remember if it was a crit fail that led me to falling and a good save, but all I have a distinct memory of well, not literally, but picturing the scenario of a guy hanging by another dude's neck trying to choke him out and salvage this botched robbery. And then the other scenario from that same campaign is some either not good trains of questioning on my end and or some low rolls. I don't remember. Somebody was leaking some info about me in the guards, and I thought I figured out who it was. Stalked them to another town, killed the people that they brought with them on their little vacation, but they woke up. So then there was a chase through the streets, and then again, not a catwalk, but a rooftop where one of us ended up dangling, but it wasn't on like a chokehold. But it was a very epic rooftop fight, and in the end, it was the wrong person. So I just killed a policewoman.
Jeez. so
Just
Joe's
for
a
doing her
terrible
job.
person in this
But
one.
hey,
Good Lord.
he's not there to be. He's not a hero. He's there to make money and steal things and murder people who he needs to. It's a fun campaign. And then the other one, honorable mention. Again, I don't remember if it was in that one, but it had to be close. I had a different assassin, but in a group game, who drowned in a fairly shallow underground pool. But it was like there was no clearance between the water and the ceiling, so it wasn't a lot of water. It was an underground water tunnel, and repeated saves or athletics checks, just all garbage. So that was the second time a character drowned on me. I don't remember, first or second.
Second time you had a character.
I've had 2 drownings and almost a third.
That sounds
Honestly, whenever I think about you, Joe, one of the strongest memories I've ever had is of the night when you were first playing Devlin and you spent half of that night waking up out of sleep. Just, you're barbarian.
Yeah.
The GM put you to sleep every other turn. And you
yeah.
fighting to stay awake for the whole fight. Just
Yeah.
No,
But
sleep spells are rough at low level.
There's no saving. It was like a regular sleep spell, right? Or was it something else that could put you?
No,
to
it was
sleep?
just the regular sleep spell.
you
But
just couldn't
Yeah,
say
because
no,
it's
man.
just hit points. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like bye, good night. I also want you to know that Joe and Nenners, you were complimented for your beards by our
Oh.
chatter.
Thank you.
Thank you. I think Joe's is far more magnificent, but I appreciate it.
All right, so I believe that brings us to Nenners. Any Nat 1 memorable moments?
Again, they're not my. I was a founder of the Low Rollers Club. My presidential status is apparently up for debate at the moment, but I roll low on the daily, so I routinely fail things I probably shouldn't, especially saving throws when I'm DMing. It's really just a meme. Anita can definitely back me up on that, where it's just like any spell she casts, I didn't even like. It was like, I'll just fail it for you. Here you go. So it's tough in like amid an ocean of failures to figure out which one's the best. But I'll steal Flandes because he's not here. And there's 2 that come to mind. One, they were getting out of New Guistanel in Athos, and they were online, and they basically was a customs thing, and they're going through, and he has such a stupid high. All he had to do was not roll a 1, and he could have talked his way out of this situation because his bonus to persuasion and deception is so fucking ridiculous. I was just like, all right, man, let's see what happens, right? So I think Kit rolled first. He rolled a 1, so he's already getting carted off to jail or whatever. And then
Also, sorry, just to supplement your this story, this is such a great story about 2 natural 1s that ruined the whole thing. Because they both rolled natural 1s, and both of them were the charisma highest like characters.
It was
of
the
the
paladin
teams.
and the warlock, basically. Yeah.
Yeah, the paladin and the warlock rolled natural 1s on their persuasion checks, and the rest of us were like, we're good. How are you taking those 2? What's going on? Sorry, go ahead, Dennis.
Yeah, and it's like it's one of those things like you're just about to get on the elevator to get, like they are literal feet away from just getting out. Like they're right there. They both fail. But like Flandes, I think, was just funnier because I think he had like a 16 or some stupid shit, even with a natural 1. But yeah, it just that was hysterical. And then the key holder fight, where you guys were fighting the one that got kind of cursed by the aboleth. And he had this crazy elaborate plan. Like he turned himself into a tree. He was gonna like jump out of like get his attention and then like run behind cover. Roll acrobatics. He rolled a 1, rolled right into the side of the said cover, fell over, and then got lasered. It was great. So thank you, Flandy. Your failures are very memorable, and I appreciate it. And I hope you're having a fun time.
That's 100% true. Flandy, I feel like, has the most memorable Nat 1s. He has so many.
He's the highest risk taker. I'll give him that. Like, if for nothing else, he's always taken the most amount of risks. But
that's very true. Also, on a character, sorry, on still on like the low roll situation, but when he was exhausted because he failed his constitution save for like how many downs he had the night before, and he was making nonstop insight checks the next day, none of them were higher than like a 3. And like by the end of the day, he was like, "Can we rest? Can we just nap for 8 hours? I'm tired of this." So yeah, poor Flandy. Flandy, you're amazing. We love you. Spamming your emotes in our chat because we miss you. But
Aww.
sorry, Dennis. I don't know if you have anything else you were gonna add.
No, that's it. That's all I got.
All right. I think next is Jazzy, actually.
So I don't know if I remember any nat ones off the top of my head. I do remember some low rolls, so I'm just gonna, go off on a tangent and go with the lower rolls that I kind of remember. Just because, oiling the rust a little bit. I don't know, I'm thinking of like difficult terrain with my rogue when we were on a rooftop and I was on a neighboring rooftop stealthed, and I had a shot at some dude named Budai.
Oh God!
Yes.
I was gonna fucking hit him with my arrow, and I had the lowest, shittiest roll. It misses him. He sees me, and it just kind of blew things out of proportion. It turned out he also was like this more powerful gang leader as we learned more about his story and whatnot. And as the story continued to progress, we literally like, if only we fucking hit this guy, like where would we be? Like, just a lot of things. So,
I remember you missed his AC by like 2. You
Literally.
were so close. And if I remember correctly, just because of the damage you do, that I think would have been the difference in that fight. Yeah.
I think it would have either killed him, or I think he was like a 1 or 2 points away or something like that. Something crazy.
He was running away. Like this was like the window because we beat his ass. He was like, I gotta go.
Well, I remember we wanted to question him.
Yeah.
Like I remember wanting to like beat him down to like 1 hit point, just question him, like, rough him up a little bit.
Yeah.
And I just remember being so mad for like the next 2 rounds, like of just being like, oh my God, if only we hit him. Like,
yeah.
I feel like that's the freshest in my memory, just because I feel like that was generally for me a little more recent. Yeah, I don't know what other low rolls. Probably what.
Interestingly,
yeah,
you roll pretty well most of the time.
Thank you.
Just Mandius for sure. Sorry, go ahead.
Roll high. I feel like for the stupid shit, when I need to roll high, when I have like a goofy ass plan that I really want to work out, I'll roll like really low. And I'm like, God damn it. At least I got it out.
Yeah.
Or like I'm trying to learn more information or like history, and then I'm just like dumbfounded. Thankfully, it's not like in the midst of battle for the most part, but yeah, I don't know. That's the freshest that I remember. I don't remember nat ones off the top of my head, but it was a lower roll. So yeah, good times.
That brings us to Maya.
Maya Papaya.
I have a unique talent, and that is if I create a character and I give them some sort of specialty or experience that they're supposed to be really, really good at, they will inevitably roll 1s on that one thing that is supposed to be their talent. So for Afra, my rogue in Legacy, her talent is supposed to be that she's an expert infiltrator, stealthy negotiator, just all around. You sneaking around in the city, that's the person you want in your crew, except when she's actually needed to do that. And then she will hold a book upside down in a store because while trying to spy on somebody in a bookstore, she rolls a natural 1 and is reading upside down books. So that didn't work out. And then my poor druid, who is well traveled across the plains, is infamous because when she was called upon for that knowledge, she rolled a nat 1 and wound up with a grand total of 3, and now it is a meme which Flandy constantly posts. Like, I like corals, and it's always me. So yeah, my characters, if they have even my freaking cleric, Celia, she's supposed to be really knowledgeable in things arcane, and every time she rolls for something arcane, I roll like a 3. This is too much. I'm tired of y'all making my characters look incompetent.
No,
I'm so sorry, girl.
That's just how it works. I think I've talked on this channel about my wizard with a plus 13 Arcana, never rolled above a 15. But his -1 to athletics, the number of 19 totals I rolled, constantly critting on running around. Like, this old man is spry, and I did not build that.
It's a spry old man. I also want to shout out Anita, who in chat was like, never forget my natural one D100 roll. That killed us. My most memorable will forever be the D100 one for Rat Effie. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my god. And then right after that, I think your next D100 was like a 13.
It was under 15 or something like that. It's
so
absolutely crazy.
Oh my god. Oh my goodness. I apologize. Oh, dang it. He just turned his head. All right. Anyway. Nubs is falling asleep on his like perch away from me, but I think he was staring at me as he fell asleep, so he was just like but like staring in my direction with his eyes closed, but he just turned his face. Anyway, I think that's all of us for that question, which was cracking us up. So the next question is actually from Mark, who sent it to us just now. It kind of ties into what we just said, but the question is, what was the most embarrassing nonstop laughing campaign moment? So let's all roll to see who goes in what order. So the dice 20s, please.
Yes, I beat a 10 finally.
Question.
That's like the highest you've gotten.
Yeah, I know.
How come every time I type foods, it keeps trying to autocorrect it to food? Joe, and then Maya, what'd you get? Is that a 3? Oh, we tied for 3! Look at that. I'll have you go before me. And then I need one more for Jasminius.
Then your crown is in danger.
You're first, Jazzy.
I just beat a 10. I don't want to hear it.
I don't have one. I'm not
I know.
This is my moment.
That's the fun of it.
This is the most
Hold on. I'm
embarrassing
gonna read
moment
some of the chat a little bit. Is it possible to make a cheese wizard basically just like water, but much denser and slower, but has the ability to harden?
I thought there was a cheese domain cleric. Am I wrong?
Are you thinking of the goat domain cleric?
There's a goat domain, but I thought there was a cheese one too. Hold on.
You can always create one if there isn't.
I mean,
No, there's the garlic
my
bread
goodness.
one. That's what it was.
Oh, that's funny. It's garlic bread. I think I've mentioned the concept my friend and I came up with about the pasta wizard who casts pesto digitation. There's nothing else to that build other than pesto digitation, but does there need to be?
That's amazing.
Mark, what you're talking about, we should have like a garlic breath dragon. It was horrifying in all the rooms.
Yeah.
1 second.
Yeah, but I don't think I have a most embarrassing moment off the top of my head. I think it's hard for us to feel embarrassed. I think that's part of why, because we're really just goofing off and we just. I mean, something I love about our group is that we take really shitty moments really well and we just goof off and laugh it off. So I don't know that I have even felt embarrassment, although I'm sure there are times that I should have felt embarrassment. But I guess I don't know. I
didn't exist
off the top of my head aside from feeling embarrassed right now. So I guess I'll pass the baton to whoever is next.
It could also be, he did say embarrassing, comma, non-stop laughing moment. So maybe a moment that was just, you know, like gut-bustingly hilarious. Like you just laughing your ass off instead.
Those are hard to remember. There's so many.
Interestingly enough, I think
so
a lot
many.
of mine involve Flandy.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Or even like Yanga way back in the day when we first started out.
Oh my god.
Like I feel like
Yes.
states of like just constantly doing the dumbest shit. Like
The
wanting
Agents
to
of Chaos.
steal from the most dangerous people in broad daylight. Like
Yep.
I don't know. I just feel like he came up with the craziest shit, or like going in a tower that he's not supposed to go into, and we're all like, "Oh my god, this is gonna go horribly," and he'll roll perfectly. I feel like those are times where we're just cracking up because we're all anticipating him just falling on his ass, or getting found out, or just getting all of us killed, or him dying himself. And I just it ends up being really funny. I feel like those moments I remember very fondly and distinctly. Just because I was always the one running after his character, like, "What are you doing?" And then he and I just look like a psycho, like, you know, neurotic and whatnot. And I'm like, all right, whatever. Good time. Him and Menners, I feel like, or what was your character's name?
Scabies.
Scabies. I was like SK something. Scabies. He was amazing.
That was so much fun. I definitely
So dope.
those two were great.
Yeah, he was a giant rat, and he had I remember him wielding a knife on his tail, and I just thought that was the coolest thing ever.
Fucking
Dad
Yeah, it
had
was
it.
super fun.
Scabies and Yanga, those two characters, whenever they came together, had the fucking dumbest plans, and I could not roll above a 3 against them.
Yeah.
So all of their plans would work.
It was never foiled. Like, they'd have the dumbest plans.
So
I feel like that was one. And they deserve a one-shot of their own. Like, I would tune in to Scabies.
Yeah. Yanga Scabie antics.
Yes. 100%.
Yes.
It was just hilarious. Hilarity would always ensue.
So good.
Yeah, so that'd be my tidbit.
Right. Actually, Nutters, you are next. You're up, man.
Maya's cleric jumping less than 10 feet to a roof. The sled kill team. And when I was stressing kill team, I was like, it's kind of like a stealthy, like you guys are just going in and murking people, but but Maya, for whatever reason, I guess didn't get the memo, and her dex was so bad. So two things happened. One, so she's trying to jump this gap, rolls like a 1 or something, and instead of like making it, just slams against the side and then falls 20 feet flat on her back.
Oh.
Salt has no idea what's going on, and like all her teammates like just kind of deftly get to the side here. So Maya, that was great. We were cracking up, and then when you guys got teleported, and again Celia with her less than great dexterity is basically getting strangled by the cloak that's supposed to like act like the Batman cloak and just kind of like glide her down. And she's just tumbling and falling through the air. And then I think the monk tried to help her, and that only got worse. And it was just this falling calamity. So Maya, even though the dice are almost never in your favor, it is always a very humorous and memorable time. Thank you.
Thanks for coming to my TED Talk. Joe, you're up.
I've been sitting here thinking, the problem here is that I have a terrible memory. I can remember the fact that everyone was laughing at various things in various campaigns. What were they? Is the problem.
I just remember having a good time.
Can I help? Karai running full speed at a wall at 920 miles an hour.
I mean, that was pretty amusing.
That was good.
I don't have a solid answer. I can think of things that are, you know what? You also said embarrassing. That I have.
Okay.
Hands down, most embarrassed any campaign in any group of any campaign I've been in. We were going to this nation that was basically just behind like if you haven't cleared the watchtower on the map in the video games, you can't see it on the map. It's basically permanently under the fog of war. No one's been there in hundreds of years. We're going to get the MacGuffin to do the thing. And it's basically just a land of undead. They all just stay where they are. There's not a problem as long as you don't go in there. But the people who do go in, if they make it out at all, end up making it out hundreds of miles from where they went in, but they didn't walk that far. It's all mystery and nonsense. We get there, and we find this old dragon that knows the things we need to know, and he's just been chilling. So we're going to talk to him, and he's super helpful, and he's going to tell us some stuff. He just needs to see the spell book that I have to try and help us figure some shit out. And basically, the spell book was just the canon reason that wizards get to get spells when they level up. He was like, yeah, the guy who taught you has a book with literally every spell, and you're just going to practice the ones you want until and add them to your book over time. Cool. And then we go to leave, and then the evil wizard drops the illusion of the big-ass dragon and runs away with my spell book. We just fucking fell for it. It wasn't you failed some saves. It wasn't you rolled some dice and got hoodwinked. It was you were too trusting. And you just let some shit happen.
Oh man.
My paranoid ass, that would never happen. I feel like my characters are always too paranoid.
No, we learned some lessons. I would say the earlier example where I was embarrassed that I couldn't escape the town with that cart, or where I got the wrong policewoman as that rogue, but I got my stuff. some guards died, and whatever, a cop died. The cops are my natural enemies, the rogues. So that all worked.
As a rogue, that's normal. Oh
No,
God.
I would.
Yeah.
A similar thing happened to that rogue though, where he got double crossed and betrayed. We had this cool like epic war games, like final showdown, and I got betrayed, which sucked at the time, but it set up the next arc, and it wasn't embarrassing because it was just a cool ass moment. That was just fucking handed every spell in the game over to this guy. It was real bad.
Maya, I believe that's you.
Oh, is it? Well, all right then. Honestly, I think one of the, I don't know if it was embarrassing, but it kind of was when Irene was charmed. The whole group had to do that in the top floor of the, or nearly every time she has sung the Brophy song. Something terrible is always happening.
We found those amusing.
That's the longest con in D&D. Is who's like, I swear this is good stuff. We've rolled like 30 times on this thing, have only gotten bad shit.
No, you've gotten full heals, full long rest for some people. You just keep rolling the same goddamn. You guys almost always roll a 14 every time.
Blandy permanently has like pockets full of clovers because of that.
That was amazing. That was amazing.
But speaking of Flandy, the one I remember the most is when he killed himself with his own moonbeam.
I thought we were like, let's talk about embarrassing moments and natural ones, and Flandy has come up more than anyone else.
Ryder killed himself with his own moonbeam. That was so amazing.
Oh my gosh.
I forgot
so great. Oh my god.
Yes.
It wasn't like a normal, like, oops, I walked into it. No, he leapt into it, Michael Jordan style, and it died on the way down.
I don't think I was there for that one.
No, that was later on. That was literally the fight where I introduced the possible exhaustion after downs, because he got down 3 times in like maybe 6 rounds or so. And I was like, that can't be good for a person to just be like flopping in and out of your fucking consciousness. So yeah, that was.
You also introduced something as well that puts you on the darkest campaign, and that was the brain damage table.
Yep. You sure did. You did that.
Anybody here have a brain damage table in their campaign?
Wasn't there something involving an orphanage too, though, that turned it into a darkest campaign?
Mm-hmm.
Like
everyone, all the kids are fine. The fucking brain damage. Damage was from a demon devil hybrid thing of nastiness. It was not and your celestial friend tried to glass him, but the glass process, he got interrupted because the demon devil basically like sprung out of it. It was essentially knocked him out. But yeah, the brain process started and then it stopped here. So about like half of his head was glass, and he lost half of that functionality essentially of his brain and body. So yeah, every time it was his turn, I would roll on a chart that I made to see how much the brain damage would affect him for that round.
That is true.
So yeah,
because of winners, I did have to shoot up in the bathroom. With my truth.
Yeah, Mark, that's totally true. Oh my god.
Are we still having a darkest campaign like debate? I feel like that's settled.
I feel like it's a constant
settled.
war.
I can't be anymore. Nanners, answer me this. Have you ever had a TPK?
No.
Foos, did you have a TPK in the last 7 days?
No.
Yes. So
the answer's no. Garai's still alive.
Only because you're omnipotent, all-cheating,
TPK
all-powerful guy.
Okay, look, I love you guys. We're completely getting off the rails.
The only reason it's not a TPK is because the bad guy is choosing to let someone live, which is worse than a TPK.
It's not. Anyway. I believe it's my turn. I think. Yeah, I think we've got the. Was there anything else, Maya? Actually, before I move on.
I'll mark with the Maya getting assassinated.
Oh my god, it was so rough.
Sorry.
I think no, it's okay.
That's my memorable nat run. That's what that is.
Which one?
My DM nat 1 on when you guys were at the Gelatini Manor. And just to see, like, that was like the worst case scenario that could happen. And I was just willing to see, like, what would there wasn't, like, honestly, all the other ones weren't combat. And this one was like, their ancient, unseelie enemies have found the way back. You're like, oh no. Yeah, that was bad. Anyway, sorry, you're saying?
Anita, no, the Preventers did not TPK. But basically, Garai, which Joe thankfully took over, which was an NPC, basically had like a side mission, and it did not end well. But in terms of, this is still kind of like embarrassing / nonstop laughter kind of moments. I think, once again, bringing it back to Flandy, but there was a moment where, actually, I think this was still the first fight where we met him, because he showed up, basically got knocked out. Pookie saved him, got him, like, healed him back up. But towards the end of that, they essentially, like, stole him and then put him in, like, a cage, essentially. And then after that, we found him on, like, the top floor. Like, we had to go find him because we're like, we don't know where he is. Let's go. And we went up to the top floor. It was, like, a bunch of Klex nasties from Nenners' campaign, like 2 vampires and something else, like big fight essentially. And Flandy was holding a concentration spell because I think he banished one of the like baddies or something. He was holding a very crucial concentration spell, and one of the vampire ladies came over and bit the shit out of him. Like, if I remember, it might have been a crit. And he had to roll a Constitution saving throw, of course, to keep his concentration up, and that was like a huge roll. Thankfully, he rolled amazing. I think he got like a natural 19 or something. So thankfully, he passed the save. But we all just like imagined for a second this woman biting onto like a Furbolg's neck, and the Furbolg like, get off me, I'm trying to concentrate! Like plying her off and like desperately trying to keep the spell up. We were laughing for quite a while about that one. That one cracked us up. Nenners mentioned it before as well. This is like the Flandy reel right now. But when he was trying to do that, essentially waiting for the enemy to attack him because there was a reflection essentially behind him, and he was attempting to kind of like duck out of the way so it would hopefully reflect back at the guy. Rolls a natural 1, so he just runs full speed into the damn wall instead. And this is pretty much a BBEG fight. And in the middle of it, we have Flandy who's like, all right, I'm doing the thing, Nenners, all right? I'm ready. So, because he had to, like, let him know ahead of time, not, like, spring it on him. So Nenners was like, good, you're doing the thing. All right, when it's your turn, I'm going to ask you to do something. So, yeah, so to do that thing, and then, bam, right in the middle of the fight. The rest of us are fighting for dear life, and our, Warlock is just braining himself in the corner. So, yeah, that had us laughing for quite a while. Jazzy Andy's mentioned it before, but what was that?
Isn't the most embarrassing moment we've ever experienced when Rolos was piloted by a drunk Flandy? It was just like, I wasn't aiming to hit you. I wasn't aiming to hit you.
Oh my god!
One of the biggest villains in the whole damn campaign. Because he was trying to miss an Eldritch Blast for some reason, and that was the clip where Foozca and I had the most dramatic line. I think I turned around and was like, no!
You weren't even looking at the screen anymore. Yeah, it was, we were being dramatic, and because, he was being dramatic, and we were like, oh no. So it was a lot. That was also quite a moment for sure, but very, very funny. Yeah. I can't think of anything else like, I don't know, embarrassing, I suppose. But no, there were a lot of fun times. Because thankfully we like to laugh on this channel, so we have lots of goofy times. All right, I think I have about one more question, and then we'll get into rapid fire. And if we're down, maybe we'll play some games, or we'll see what's going on. Hold on, I lost my window with my stuff. Also, thank you, Mark, for the question. That was fun.
Yeah, it was a good question.
It was good times. It was good times. Pardon me. I lost it all now.
You found me shooting up in the bathroom is another good one.
You found me. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Amazing. Okay. This is like not a great, I guess, question to be asking, considering everything that's happened, especially because I feel like this is going to come up for me mostly. But what was a stressful or intense moment during a session that was very memorable for you? And let's all roll to see who goes in what order.
Does it matter? You're at the root of all of them.
I know, that's what I was like. Everyone's going to yell at me. Nenners rolled a 14. That was good, Nenners. Look at you. Oh, you guys rolled like back to back. Okay. Oh shoot, Joe got a 19 as well, and I got a 19. Okay. Dink, and then that's a Nenners, and then a Maya, and then I'll roll for you, Jasmine Diaz.
Okay.
Jazzy Mandias.
13. That's pretty good. All right. Wow, with a 13, I think you're only higher than Maya. Everyone rolled really well on this one. Okay.
No,
So I guess
not everyone rolled really well, Foos.
you did roll well. You just
Am I
did
not
roll
a person,
really. Okay.
Foos? I rolled a 9. That's not really well.
That's
I love
basically
you.
a
I love
10,
you.
which is middling.
It's fine. That's not bad. I'm just shocked that everyone rolled well, to be honest. Anyway, I think I'm at the top with the 19 because I rolled first. Okay, so I think this was actually pre-recording and pre-streaming. But there was a moment where I think actually I am literally the only person who's still there at this point. Legacy times when we had Scribbler, the Kenku like fighter healer essentially. Dubs was there as Katasu, another Kenku. It was me as Ravaya as per usual, and then Puba was there as Tyrael. And you had this big old Klex fucking centipede that ran across the whole fucking map, and when it did, it leaves like a sludge or slime on you that basically slows you. It does crazy damage, and then you're slowed. And like we were pretty spread out around the room, but at that particular moment, the two birds, the Kenkus, Scribbler and Katasu, were right next to each other, and you got both of them, and they were both already hurt. And like with that one thing, they both failed, so they were both slow, and they both had like 20 hit points or less. And I was on the opposite side tanking some kind of crazy whatever Klex shit you threw at us again. And
I think those were the
was like-
Centurions? The Colossus. Because I think it had to be the claw. Yeah.
Yeah. And I was like freaking out because I was like, save the birds! Because I was busy, and Puba as Tyrael was kind of like, I forgot what he was doing, but he was essentially like on his way. I remember at that point being like, this is bad. Like I'm stressed right now. I thought for sure we were going to lose one, if not both of them, and it was so dangerous because one of them was the main healer and the other one was an incredible damage dealer. So I thought for sure we were going to lose someone there, but we managed to turn it around somehow. I don't even know if anyone got knocked out, but it came close. It was rough. That's the first moment that really springs to mind. I think the other time, actually, I think this was against the Elder Brain Dragon, if I remember correctly, when our Paladin was stunned the whole time.
Yeah.
Could not roll out of the like mind blast essentially that went out. And the thing that sucked is like not only was he stunned, but there was something that was like pulling him closer to the dragon, I think, or something. There was some thing that was also moving him while we were on like some other boat that was like moving in the other direction, and it was like there's so many problems that I don't know if I could solve right now. I'm just a ranger barbarian. I hit things hard. I got a few spells, but it's not a lot I could do. So yeah, it was that was another very stressful moment for me. But again, everything kind of worked out, thankfully. Nubs was getting on my lap. And I think that's it for me right now. Those two moments are like forever seared in my brain as like when I was so stressed. But that's it for me. I will pass it on to Joe.
Hard question, especially because what's the bar for stress?
Individual, I guess.
I mean,
I know that's the
moment
hard
you-
thing.
you-
I have a higher
yeah.
tolerance in general. Y'all are a bunch of SRE folks, so
Short rest. energy.
I can't picture a situation where you've been taxed. You always have full resources, but this is some unnecessary shade to stall for time because there's definitely been some intense fights. I guess it would be we were fighting like the first arc bad guy was this woman colluding with like this secret organization that I think had to do with some demons. It definitely had to do with the evil pantheon. But she just turned into like a weird Frankenstein spider thing. I'm trying to I'm conflating some things, I'm sure, because we fought a lot of 6-armed snake demons. So I might just be adding limbs to her unnecessarily. In any case, she was wrecking house. And it got to the point where it was obvious that the DM was starting to try and like pull a little bit of punches and go towards people who had more health. So I had to just message him and be like, look, do what feels smart, especially because I'm the one in the way. I will be fine. This is not my first death. So I had to reach out and be like, you do what you feel is right, but if what feels right is killing me, do it. And then I got disintegrated. So it was stressful in general.
Wow.
But on top of that, it was like a special disintegrate. It's like, if this kills you, not only do you turn to ash, but your soul goes straight to this particular level of hell. And then there was a hole. We got to go get it back, which I was like, you don't.
That DM is disintegrate is spicy enough. I didn't ever think you needed to add some more.
No, he made it scary. And I was like, good.
Yeah.
And then it was also good for me to retire that character. He had a homebrew thing with like constellation star signs that you were born under, and one of them in particular that I took, every time you rolled for health, you added like 1.5 times what you rolled instead of just normal. So I was a barbarian adding more health per level than normal versus a bunch of not barbarians on my team. It's like, yeah, for you to threaten me, they have to basically automatically die.
Yeah.
This is not great for balance. This works on multiple levels, but it was a tense fight.
Sounds like it. I like everything you described, and then the sudden, and then I got disintegrated. Like, Jesus.
I didn't know disintegrate was coming, but I was like, yeah, no, I'm up next to it. I'm probably gonna die. That's fine.
It's gonna be a bad time. Nenners, you are up.
I have two. When our team got split and you guys lost Tree Bender. And that was extremely stressful for me because first off, I'm fighting for my damn life. I'm catching arrows left, right, and center. Second, you guys lost Tree Bender. And I was like, I have the skill set to get him back. But I'm getting filled with arrows right now, and I'm like half a mile away. I cannot so that was super like I wanted to be in there. I'm usually handed a lot of bills in our gameplay. Like our teammates will do something crazy or something will happen to them. It's like, all right, this is your turn. Oh, okay, yeah, all right. So that was kind of stressful. And I think the second one was when the first time Rylan was like about to die. I think that was the most stressful for my character in character because Valen has severe PTSD when it comes to like losing friends, and doesn't trust as a result too much. And the one guy he did trust is about to get murked by some crazy guys. So that's when he had to like burn everything and like put himself in front of him, like get him up with like 8 hit points. And pretty much know he's dead. Like I burnt out of actions. I had nothing left. And was just like, I'm here to take the next shot for you, brother. Good luck.
Yeah.
But that was pretty stressful. But yeah, I think that's
Everyone made it.
Yeah.
Nobody died in that fight. That means Jazzy, you're up.
I don't have specific scenarios. I think it's because I have a terrible memory, and this is all a little rusty. I'm a little fuzzy. I may or may not be mixing campaigns, but definitely, I think in regards to the Legacy campaign, I like towards the end when we were like finally encountering Taprotage after like years of campaigning, like literally years. I think there was a lot of stress with that because obviously you wanted to kick his ass, and the other aspect was you didn't want to get eaten or turned into an illithid in the process. There was just a lot of like side things going on and slugs and goodness and extra enemies that he kept summoning and whatnot. And I think aside from that, feeling a lot of stress in that campaign in general because everything was fucking cursed. Anything you ever stumbled upon anywhere, you didn't know if you were about to summit like Baphomet just by like touching it or going near it, or if just in general you would just like like consumed by an item or something and end up in some dark ass place. I think that was stressful. And then in difficult terrain, going back to that, when we first started out, like our characters were such shitty low level characters that were still like, I think we were like level 3, between levels 3 to 7, so we still didn't have like a lot of like extra perks for our characters, and I remember just hitting a lot of like high level assholes in the middle of the forest and whatnot, and just being genuinely afraid for your character's life and being like, I'm gonna have backup characters. There was just constant stress with that, just because we were still building our levels in the very beginning. I just remember constantly having like anime sweat drops and being like, I'm gonna die tonight. Like, really.
Yeah.
So I wish I could have like more specific examples, but I just remember like frolicking through the forests, through zombies and all these crazy like nemesises that we would, or whatever the plural tense of that is, that we would come across, and feeling genuine fear of being like, I'm gonna die tonight. Let's come up with a backup character. So really,
yeah, the Cosmeta arc, I think everybody had like joke backup
specifically
characters.
Cosmeta, that was a good one. Yeah, that's a good example.
Yeah, because you were like, Dunessa will come up when Duvessa dies. her twin sister Dunessa rises.
Yeah, that was great.
And then Dubs kept saying like, oh sorry, yeah, Dubs' characters are like, he kept calling himself Night Shadow, but he was like, he'll die and then Light Shadow will come out. and then if he dies, then Night Shadow, KNIGHT, will rise. He had all these like stupid rhyming names for like if his character died and would come
and all
back.
the characters were so similar to each other, just so we get to play our original character that we had lost. Because we spent so much time that it was like sentimental at some point. We're like, well, if these characters die, we need to have a backup that's almost identical.
Yeah.
No, it was great.
I feel like those were basically it for me.
Yeah, that brings us to Maya Papaya.
Maya Papaya.
I have two ways of answering this question. There's internal stress and external stress. And when I want that good, sweet internal mindfuck stress, Foozca's campaign, hands down, ruins all of my characters psychologically. So,
they are broken.
When it comes to the Foozca campaigns, especially difficult terrain, Irene is there a level beyond PTSD? Like, I feel like she's barbecued her parents. She's like killed all of her closest friends multiple times in her head through spells. So she's had entire moments where all of her friends are dead and she's the only one alive. What?
Don't forget, you got turned into an egg too.
Oh yeah, I got turned into an egg.
You're fine. You're about to go to a party.
It's fine.
Yeah,
massacre in the nursery. There was no massacre in the nursery.
Yep, there was that. Yep.
Do you know how many hit points babies have? We do.
Irene is in a bad place psychologically. She's terrified because she's watched her friends die numerous times, real and imagined. Shout out to Brophy. Bro. But
I think getting lost in the astral plane too, to add to a lot of our adventures that you just reminded me of.
Yep.
Yeah,
Like that was a lot of anxiety.
Yeah, you're gonna need therapy for quite some time.
External stressors, which is legacy, and the entirety of the Apthus campaign. My poor druid is like, she ain't okay no more. She is in a permanent like stress mode. Just, and I apologize that you had to beat her in the state, Joe. She used to be really happy and jovial, but now she is just.
It's totally fine. Like I said, within minutes of meeting you, my character's like, I need to like check in with this person and make sure they're okay mentally. But other than that, you're probably doing great. And you've got someone to help rein in the chaos. Because
I feel like our characters are just constantly on adrenaline.
Yeah.
Yes, druid. Yes, exactly.
Yeah, Mark Songs just typed out PTS Druid.
Druid. Yeah. Correct.
Pretty much.
Correct.
Pretty much.
Like everything that could like not get people hurt, this group does not choose that option. In addition of quitting every decision he has made for the last 3 days.
I know.
You said one shot somebody, I'm gonna touch it. This spear looks dangerous. I'm gonna grab it.
The best is I feel like it stresses out you and your character an equal amount.
Yeah.
I think like both Maya and Euphemia are like, no. It's amazing, and I love it.
Yeah, that's my answer. I go to both campaigns for different stressors, but
And a lovely question it is. I love it. Okay, so with that, I think we'll hop into our rapid fire, which is essentially I ask this or that questions to the best of your ability. You can explain it a little bit, but try and be as quick as you can so we can roll through them for everybody else. And if anybody is listening or are listening at our chat and stuff, feel free to type your answers so we can argue them or not argue or agree, whatever. We're gonna have a good time. So I think I need one more roll from everybody so that I can see what order we'll be answering all of these in. Oh, here we go. There's natural 20. What the hell? What's happening?
Was that for me or for you?
That was for Nenners. Nenners got a natural 20.
Nice.
I got 4, so okay, but I'm not last because there's Joe.
Rolling like a guy who's out of the club over there now.
You
Oh
shut
my
yourself.
God. And then let's see. Hold on, sorry, Maya. You got somewhere in between, right? Yeah, this is Maya, and then I need one more for Jasmine, who also rolled a 4 with me. So you and I will go last. Oh no, not last because Joe got a. Sorry. Joe got a 2, so you'll go right after me then. Jazzy, yes. All right. So I have my notes there for everything, which means the order is Nunners, Maya, Foos, Jasmandius, and then Joe. So that will be the order we're answering these questions in. And we will start with our very first one. Nunners, you're going to be up first. I think I already know your answer, but we're gonna get going with you. All right. So first question. Dragons or beholders?
Beholders all day, man. Come on.
Yeah, I do that. Maya.
that's a hard one for me. Beholders, they're more interesting.
I do love beholders. It's me. I think I'm going beholders as well. It's just beholders the fucking whole way. I think they're so weird and interesting. They're just so goofy boys in the same time. Anyway, that's me, Jazzy.
Well, now I feel like a follower. Beholders, what everyone else has just said. It's a tough one. I do like both, but I'm going to say beholders just because it goes back to what I was saying earlier about horror and all of that. Yeah. Definitely.
Yeah. And Joe.
You are a follower. Leave it to all of you to be sheep, and leave it to a white man to lead. Dragons. As Anita said, they're in the name of the game. But also, they're so iconic. I guess beholders are as well to an extent, but I don't know. Beholders are lame to me.
I know. Unexpected.
You better get out of here with them opinions.
Them is fighting words.
You better
great debate about this.
We're all beholders.
Xanathar deleted his shadow because he thought it was going to kill him. It's fucking amazing.
Freaking hilarious. I genuinely love a lot of things on both sides, and it was tough, but I think in general, I think beholders are so interesting. Yeah. Anyway, next question. This is in terms of warlock patrons. Again, Nunners, we're starting with you. So if you had a warlock patron, would you choose the fiend patron or the archfey patron?
Me personally, or for like a character?
You personally. Or personally, I would say, yeah. Let's go for you.
Fiend, man. Give me like a good old devil pack. Let's go.
Maya?
Archfey, you know I like a little bit of chaos.
Yeah, your archfey feels right for you. It's me. I think I'm going fiend as well. I'm a bad person. I'm not going to describe anything else other than I think fiends are fun. Just
I don't even have to answer.
The person with the red ass shirt picked fiend. Surprise!
It's for Kenya. Listen, that's our colors. Okay. Anyway, I'm sorry, Jazzy. What'd you say?
I mean, hands down. I think it's obvious. It's fiend. Definitely.
Fiend,
I feel like Foozzy, you and I. Yeah.
Anyway, Joe.
I mean, they're both solid answers, and both are classic entities that make deals. I think Archfey just for the whimsy.
Yeah.
I feel like you would be an archfey. Yeah, I love them. I like both sides. I think they're both very interesting. All right, next question. Mimics or gelatinous cubes? No.
Gelatinous cubes.
Yeah. Yep. My
all the time.
Gelatinous mimics.
I mean that could be a thing. They could disguise themselves.
Absolutely. It's the monster you're gonna make now. Go ahead. You're welcome.
You go to get a jar of jelly and it just eats you.
Yeah.
Oh my god. While I do love moving on, sorry to me. While I do love gelatinous cubes very, very much, I feel like I just love mimics for how iconic they are and how they can like be. The fact that they can be the size of like a house too is so cool. Anyway, I think I love both, to be honest, but I think for this I'm going to hesitantly pick mimics. Jasmine, you're up.
I don't know. This is a tough call for me. I'm leaning towards mimic. Just because sometimes it can be unexpected versus gelatinous cube you can kind of avoid in a way. I don't know. I'm just gonna go with mimics. That's my final answer. Keep it short and sweet.
Joe, you're up.
Is neither an option?
Get out
like
of here, Joe. Stop hating.
You could both
I
like
guess a cube. You can make a decent trap with a cube. I don't care for either, but cube.
You just haven't met the right.
that wasn't an option.
Well, again, I'm a leader. I make my own options.
You're gonna lead your way off of this channel. I'm gonna take back your stat block.
Oh no!
I'm just kidding.
Here's me putting my place.
No. I'm kidding. All's good. All right, go back to the questions. For Nenners, once again, back to the top. I think I asked this another one, but I can't remember, and I don't see it in my notes, so we're gonna ask it again. I don't know if this has come up before. Goblins or kobolds?
It has come up before.
Okay, I thought so. I was like, I don't see it here in my list though.
All right. Okay.
Ooh.
D&D kobolds, Pathfinder goblins.
Okay, we'll take it. Maya, you're up.
My answer is actually similar to Ninner's because knock knock happened, so my answer is goblins.
Yeah, exactly. I heard I see knock knock like with his fucking mouthful of teeth and his two daggers. I'm like, I can't say no to this little bastard. Great. Sorry. Anyway.
Oh, it's great.
Yeah.
Then it's me, I guess. I think I will go for gobos just because I think they're very goofy and funny, and I don't know, they're fun. I love kobolds too, but gobos. I guess gobos. Jazzy.
I don't have enough experience with either to formulate a proper opinion. I don't know. Maybe kobold? I don't know.
They're cool
I
too,
love that
yep.
kobolds have like delusions of grandeur, and they're traps. Like the combination of those two makes them so like iconic to me. Goblins are funny just because they're goblins, but like
Yes.
kobolds have the traps and stuff. Like anyway, yeah.
They're goofy. They're goofy looking. Even though they're supposed to be like ominous and scary, they're just
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm gonna lean towards that. That's my final answer. I don't have enough experience otherwise.
No worries. Joe.
They're interchangeable.
They're
They're basically the same monster.
I don't care.
My only opinion on either is don't adopt them. Stop it. Just let monsters be monsters,
Oh yeah.
and let D&D be D&D.
I mean, my team adopts every animal they see, pretty much.
Yeah,
so.
it's not my favorite trait, but it makes more sense when it's not a sapient being.
Oh. That's true. The adopting of the goblin.
Boblin the goblin.
Boblin the goblin. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Joe, live and let monster. It's apparently what Mark Soggs was saying, and I love it. Okay, that brings us back to the top of the round. Would you rather have the finishing critical hit on a boss or an epic plot twist?
Ooh.
Depends on how much I don't like the boss.
How mad I am.
Because
Right?
if that
Like,
boss,
want revenge.
yeah. If it's Gudai, I'll take that crit all fucking day.
I
That
must
dude-
die.
I've been trying to put that fool in the ground for months,
That asshole's
years.
still alive.
Yes, he is.
Mother effer.
Well, here's the thing.
Gotta join this team
Kill
again.
one of
Team
those bosses, you
Unite
know
Live
there's
must
going to be an
reunite.
epic plot twist anyway.
Do it. I mean, don't get me wrong, I love a good plot twist, but Foos makes these
Yeah.
fucking infuriating villains that I just want to put in the ground. So,
Yeah.
They cheat.
yeah.
And we
So,
always have an opportunity to kill them off early, but like no one understands how bad they really are until it goes on further. I feel like that happens a lot with Foozie's campaign.
it does.
She'll introduce some really powerful guy, but he's just like so nonchalant that you think he's just some asshole, some random asshole, and then you're like, oh god.
I'm going to go with normal, not darkest campaigns. Plot twists are great. In Foozie's super dark, need therapy campaigns, crits on the bosses. That's my answer.
Maya, you're up.
Plot twist, only because we don't really have an option. I don't even know why you presented this fucking question, Foos. You're full of shit. Listen, every time we kill one of your bosses, plot twist, he ain't dead. So there's no way out.
You
We
killed
killed the
so
whole
many.
You
I killed
him.
the same boss 3 times last Saturday. So
That one
I'm on
dude
my-
is very specific.
Yeah, he cheats
Everyone's
hard
getting mad at
on
me.
every aspect.
He does.
We couldn't even
All
kill
right.
Venom the first time. Plot
You
twist.
knew that ahead of time. You knew that she had an echo of the Shadowfell, and you went there and you killed her, and now she's super dead.
Is she though, Foos? Is she?
She is.
I mean, she's on her way back, though.
Yeah, exactly.
Possibly.
Plot twist. This is what I mean.
Possibly.
You have no options. This is a choice. This is a illusory choice.
Then how about you answer in regards to Netters' campaign?
Oh, plot twist. He's normal.
There you go.
We can
Oh,
actually
there you
kill his villains.
Normal here among us. I
go.
mean,
Just normal. I don't know. I'm just getting yelled at all damn time.
Villains.
Yeah.
It's my turn. I think I'm gonna go plot twist just because I think it's. I also am like a bit of a lore like nerd and whatever. So like anytime Netters is lore dumping us, I have like 16 pages of like shit or whatever, and I'm the one with the red lines drawn between people, and I'm like, I think this is the connection. So like when Netters has a moment where like I get the plot twist or like the things make sense, and I'm like, aha! So I love those moments. It's good fun for me. Jazzy, you're up.
I feel like I'm just constantly following you because you and I are so similar and we're basically one soul sometimes. But truly, at the end of the day, I am always a fan of a good plot twist. As chaotic as it can be, I just prefer it more. I like having to change things up and being surprised, generally. I like the spontaneity of it all. So plot twist all the way.
And you.
I mean, with some exceptions, when it's like a significant to your backstory villain, if he dies, team win, who cares? Give me interesting plot.
Plot twist all day, baby.
I mean, I would prefer that villains actually can die, but
Yeah.
Okay. So,
I
Next
assume they're not
question.
being fair. I just have a very limited scope of experience in difficult terrain that's entirely as Garai not being able to kill one dude.
yeah, it's.
I don't think that's limited.
It's doing good things for my reputation, let me say. So next question is okay. This is a planar choice essentially. Feywild or Astral Plane. That's for Netters. Back at the top.
I ride or die with the gift, baby. We're going to the Astro.
Yeah, I knew your answer before you opened your mouth. I was like, I know his answer.
Yo, Maya.
What's the question again?
Astral Plane or Feywild?
I mean, Feywild.
Yeah, no, she's a Fey lady. Me, I think it's actually kind of tough for me because Feywild is like just as wonderful as it is like beautiful and crazy at the same time. I don't know. I'm so fascinated by the Astral Plane. I think I would choose the Astral Plane. Although it is a tough decision. I think the Feywild is fantastic too, but the amount of like trickery and like kookiness going on, it looks like it's fun to watch from a distance. But Jazzy, you are up.
Yes. Oh, this is tough. This is very hard. They come really, really close, but I think I would just choose Feywild just because I do veer more towards the whole fantasy aspect and the mischief of it all. I think there's a lot of like unexpected, spontaneous mischief. Yeah. I'm gonna go with that.
Unexpected for sure. Joe.
Astral plane.
No explanation, just astral plane.
I mean, I'll give it to you. The explanation is I've been in multiple campaigns where it's like, surprise, Feywild. It's like, oh, this thing I've done before. Haha, there'll be
so
trickses and things. It's nice, it's fun, it's got its challenges, but you know what? People have been there.
Yeah,
People
yeah.
have done
I think
it.
it's one of the easier explored ones for sure.
Feywild is hitting the point where, like, isn't it different and interesting? I was like, yeah, the same way tieflings were, and now everyone wants to be a tiefling. So
I think it depends
That's
on
rude.
the DM, because Foozzy gets very creative with the Feywild.
oh, I would assume if Foos put me in any plane, it would be interesting.
Yeah. So in a way, it does depend on how creative the DM is. In that
There are
regard.
just some
Yeah.
common tropes. And what are you
Yeah, of
rude? Tieflings are interesting and different. No. Human fighters are now non-basic because of the amount of tieflings there are in D&D.
I think when it comes to the astral plane, my strongest memory is basically we get on that boat and Ninners is immediately like, hey, why is that guy's hands backwards? You got backwards hands? What's going on here?
Yeah. Oh my god, it's so good. It's amazing. That like a little like exploration moment was so funny because it was like, wow, this is a fascinating marketplace. And then Rylan did his whatchamacallit, his what's it, divine sense, that's what it was, to see like what was around, and he pinged numerous fiends and like a few celestials too, but then he was like, I'm gonna get in the car, guys. I'm not fucking with this.
I'm outta here.
Like left, yeah. It was really good times.
Yeah.
But
Sandwiches.
okay. We're going
Honorary-
to oh, go ahead, sorry.
Can you just be honest and say that Dubs would say astral plane because of the sandwiches?
Oh yeah, for sure. Well, Kojono would say astral plane for sure. I mean, those two actually. He loves the sandwich.
Oh
so,
man,
yeah,
those
you're right.
were epic sandwiches. I always wanted
Yep.
to know what one would really taste like.
They were magic
Can you
sandwiches.
imagine?
All right. So the next and our last question of our rapid fire is epic boss battle, or
official?
intricate heist. We're gonna start with Ninners.
Ooh.
Okay. All right. Hear me out.
Uh-oh.
Who
Okay.
am I playing with?
Oh, I mean, I get you.
Because if it's with this crew, it has to
Yep.
be the boss battle. Because 2 steps into the heist, it's fucked. Like it then now it turns into I'm fighting everybody on this block.
Great
So,
fucking ambush.
yes.
We
If
did a
it's-
prison break in which we broke the prison. That's
if I had,
Yeah,
and
pretty much.
I'm just as guilty. 100%. I am not a stealther. Never will be. I suck at long-term stealth stuff. I can't do it. So if it's with if I'm getting carried by like a James Bond crew, I'm down for the heist. But if it's with my crew here, it's got to be the boss battle because that's what the heist is going to turn into anyway.
Yeah.
Okay.
a boss battle. You get both. You 2 for 1.
So Maya, yours is boss battles.
No, it's actually heist. I mean, I feel like a good heist is gonna have a boss battle anyway.
Yeah.
So I feel like it's 2 for 1. It's like, yeah, it's gonna be an epic
Yeah,
heist.
yeah.
And I have forever wanted to do like heist missions, like, you know, the classic like on a train, or like,
Mm.
it's weird as it sounds for me, robbing the bank. I don't know.
I don't know, you
Just like raiding
Yeah.
a vault or something. It just sounds like a lot of fun.
guys had a heist opportunity where the art you were stealing was a paladin orc, and y'all asked for directions and woke up the whole prison.
That's why Ninners was like the. Also, like I think most of the time I'm almost always playing a character who's like, I'm not doing this like stealth the whole time thing or whatever. Like, just gonna get in there and whatever. Anyway, my turn. I think I'm gonna go for. I don't know if you can see the tiny paw that is now on my.
Oh,
That's Nubs.
Nubs.
Hey. But anyway, for this, I think I'm gonna go epic boss battle, and I think part of this is just because, Ninners, I love your boss fights.
They're awesome.
In general, they've always been super fun, but I also just love that it's not just here's the bad guy, you have to stab him to death. there's like, hey, there's an apparatus in the corner, or something is going on with this room, or maybe there's another like mini boss that's attached to him that buffs him in some way, or maybe they're innocents that you have to try and save at the same time, you know, like, because a boss fight always turns into like, we have to do more than just kill this guy. Like, that's not the only plan that we have to enact right now. So I will say boss battles, but that's also because I'm spoiled and Nenders is awesome. So
That's a very good
Jazzy Mandius, you are up.
I mean, I second your point and appreciate it about Nenders' boss battles. Definitely, I have witnessed many, and they've always been awesome. I mean, I like your plot twist, but I'm gonna always choose heist, just because regardless of however it may go or whoever your team is, the motive is always different, and it's just
true.
It leaves a lot of room for chaos, and sometimes I'm an agent of chaos, and I think it's fun. So,
Yep. I think this also comes from the fact that, like, I think your second character ever in D&D, you were like, can I be evil and double cross everyone? And I was like, yes. So she had to play cool the whole time. Yeah. So
they don't know.
So,
I never said that, guys. She's not evil. Scratch that.
The best is, like, I didn't even like suggest it to anybody. She just came to me and was like, can I? I was like, yes, you can.
The original idea was I was gonna be like in cahoots with the boss and, like, you know, just giving her all this. I was the mole, basically, giving all the inside info.
Yeah.
But she went into a different direction, which I feel like is so true of D&D. Not to digress from it, but I just thought it was cool character development that she had started out one way and, you know, progressed in a different way.
Yeah, character arc change.
Yeah, definitely.
Good stuff. That brings us to Joe.
Oh, heist, easy.
Yeah,
The only
I feel
beef
like-
I have with heists is that it can be hard to do the planning stage in character so much.
Yeah.
But generally, the most successful heist stuff I've done is again with that rogue, where it's a one-on-one campaign, and it's just back and forth over text, in person,
Yeah.
over the course of a week. Like, oh, would this work? And it's just this cool planning session, and then dice are involved, so eventually it'll go to shit. But then you get a cool epic fight where you hang off of a garrote off of a balcony, and it was dope.
Yeah.
I don't think I ever used anything I stole from that place.
Oh my god.
I got it, and I was like, yes,
just got it.
nailed it. Moving on.
Oh my
That's
god.
what I
Yeah,
meant. I feel like when the heist goes wrong, that is the boss battle.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's the one. Yeah, I
It
hear you.
certainly can be.
God, we had such a long conversation about what I would use to take everything. Like, we had it took hours to come up with, we can buy some donkeys and then take those through the sewers. That's how we're going to get everything out. That was the final, but we were so many ideas of contraptions and magic.
I
Only to
wasn't,
realize
here-
donkeys are
Donkeys
cheap.
in the sewers.
I wasn't
is
around for
amazing.
that heist, but it sounds interesting.
Oh, it was a fun time.
Certainly does, and I love it. All right, so with that brings us to the end of our rapid fire and our sort of questions for the interesting cheese stuff. I think we're gonna take a quick break and see if we'll come back to do any games or just kind of say our goodbyes or whatever it might be. Also, I have to pee, and my cat's been on me the whole time, and I haven't been able to get up. So we're gonna take a quick break, stretch our legs, see what we'll be back and doing. But we'll be back, and as always, thanks for hanging out with us. But we'll be back.
Thank you. Bye. See you later.
Yes, bye. We'll be back.
All of the things.
Here we go. 5. Sorry.
Five Beats are live. There we are. We're back. We got a toast cam for Joe right now, which I feel like is a little hard to make out, but that's a kitty. and he's
It is
cleaning him.
darker than I'd like. I don't have any overhead lights. I just have lamps.
I must say, your cat has a thick neck. He's got a chunky neck. And I
Oh,
love
he's a
it.
chunky boy.
He's great. Okay, so we're going to be moving on to sort of a quicker round than usual of our a game, actually, which for the uninitiated, which includes Jazz Mandy is here. Basically, I'm going to be reading out like nerdy statements, essentially. Something about it is wrong, and you guys have to correct me, essentially, as to what is wrong. So, for example, if I'll just say something that's very clearly wrong, I guess, which would be like, I don't know, Solid Snake never wears headbands or something. And then you could interrupt me and you have to start your statement with actually, otherwise it does not count, in which you should say, actually, Solid Snake does wear headbands. What the hell? So that's the premise of the game. There will be a few questions. There's like 2, I think, where you might need to write something down or do a little bit of matching in some way. So keep those in mind. But we'll get going. Sorry,
How does one win or lose if there is such a thing?
Also, I should also mention, thank you. It's based on points, so whoever gets the question first or gets the statement wrong or corrects me first is what I should say. Also, because we're playing this online, we don't really have like any buzzers or anything for me to tell, and if people just start shouting actually, I might not be able to tell who is answering. So, if you know the correction, you want to say it, say your name first, which is going to sound a little weird. You might hear like, Nanners, Maya, blah, blah, blah. But that way it's easier for me to hear who was ready first, and then I can call on whoever's name.
There's an easy way to solve this, Fizz.
What's up? No, it does not. It doesn't. We already tried that. It does not work because it doesn't stay in order, and the stacks are goofy. So we cannot use the raising hand thing. Yeah. So just say your name. Can chat help? We usually try not to, but I'm not going to get mad at you if you try to help one of them. Actually, we did give chat points in the past. Like, I think Anita got like 2 points one time when she was playing with us. So you're welcome to play along. If you know the answer, then you can actually, if they're stumped or whatever, if you get it first, then I will give you a complimentary point. But yes, that's essentially how it goes. I'm actually going to read a dummy question just so we have one round of, I guess, practice, I suppose. So I won't count this. This will not count towards any points. And I'm going to read something that I feel like maybe none of us will know so that we can all guess our way through it. I don't know if this is true, if anyone knows much about this. All right, so this is our first test question. There are no points for this. It's just to get everyone in the right mindset. So this particular, I will also tell you what genre and what it pertains to. So this is Sailor Moon.
I can't hear you.
Uh-oh, you can't hear me?
Is it just me?
I can hear.
Uh-oh, Jazzmandia's lost her sound, and that's very important to playing right now.
I can't hear anything.
Oh no! We'll just keep making
bueno.
noise. Uh-oh. We can't give her instructions audibly. So we're gonna have to just hope that eventually her sound comes back. It is very amusing watching a poor, very confused Jasmine.
Oh no!
just very confused.
Yes.
It's okay. You got it. It'll be all right. I'm just gonna keep talking so there's some
my
sound.
God, that's amazing.
In case
My
it never
tablet
comes
isn't
back.
working.
Uh-oh. Ruh-roh. Calls tech support. Yeah, Mark, please call tech support. Help her out. Oh, no.
My tablet ain't tableting.
Your tablet ain't tableting.
So many technical difficulties.
What's happening?
Kelly's.
I don't understand. It was tableting a second ago. Why it ain't tableting no more?
Tableting all over the place, and now it ain't. I don't know.
What's going on here?
I don't know. Unfortunately. We'll give her a few more moments, see if anything improves or not. Uh-oh. She just texted me. I can't hear you. We know, girl. Oh no. Just grooving to the music at this point. Oh yeah, Mark, you did see the videos I sent, right, for the background music. This sweet, funky, royalty-free music. Oh yeah, I'd actually see your responses to them. In case you ever need them.
I can hear you again.
Oh great!
She's back. All right.
Welcome
happened?
back.
The whole introductory I missed.
No,
tried.
you're good. Okay. So did you hear? You heard the rules and such, right? Like what we're.
I heard nothing. The second you were like, okay, let's get started, it went mute. And I was like, the F just happened. Awkwardly stared. And I was like, I can finish this. God damn it. And then I just
Yeah. But you at least heard about, like, you have to say your name so that I know who's okay. That's fine. We actually didn't get started on. We're doing a introductory question, so this does not count for points for anybody. This is just to get us rolling. So this is our little tester question.
that I heard,
feel-
and I heard nothing else after.
Okay, good. I didn't get started on it, so it was good timing.
Okay. So,
All right, so I will always read out the category and such. So this is about Sailor Moon, which is why I feel like nobody's gonna really know very well. And yes, Joe's camera is currently on his cat named Toast. It's called the Toast Cam, and it's a little dark, but Toast is there. Anyway, so Sailor Moon. Find the incorrect part of this statement. A 1992 anime. During the first season of the anime, 5 girls are given magic pens which allow them to transform into Sailor Scouts. Sailor Moon is different than the others, as she is given a locket instead of a pen. Oh, and also because she's the reincarnation of a space princess from 1,000 years ago.
I don't know, Joe. Actually, there's 10 of them, not 5.
Nope. I don't know this at all.
I just guessed because planets.
Wasn't the reincarnation a different character?
Yeah,
I
you have to say
actually, wasn't the reincarnation a different character, like the little girl?
You're on the right trail, but it's not quite
Just
there.
give it to her. Ain't nobody gonna come close, man.
I
Just
know.
take it.
That's
Take
why.
the win.
There's no point for it anyway.
Yeah.
But the correction to this is that Sailor Moon is not the only reincarnated princess.
Yeah, it was the little girl.
Apparently, according to this, all of the Sailor Scouts are reincarnated space princesses.
Did not remember that at all.
That's the thing. So, yeah, Mark Songs, I'm right with you, man. That's why I chose this question, because sometimes it's fun to start with something that everyone's like, huh? Anyway, let's move off of that. We're gonna go to, this is our first question that actually counts. So this is a point that can be won by anybody. This category is the 80s and 90s, and it's screensavers. So Windows 95 3D Maze screensaver begins at a floating start button, then flies automatically around an endless maze of brick walls. While traversing the maze, the program occasionally encounters rats, floating smiley faces, and a polyhedra that flips the camera upside down.
It was too long ago. It's too long ago.
I was alive and functioning in this era, and in the computing scene, and I still know what the fuck you're talking about.
I don't remember it being a start button.
There is indeed a start button, and
I
Mark,
vaguely remember, but
unfortunately,
don't ask me what was in the maze other than bricks. I don't.
I do remember it flipped at the end.
I do remember the rats and such. There are things about this that I do remember. I'm going to reread just the part that needs the correction, so we can all try one more time. The Windows 95 3D Maze screensaver begins at a floating start button, then flies automatically through an endless maze of brick walls.
I'm gonna
Something
vote
about
that
that
who stops picking bullshit ass questions.
This is my question. It's a statement, and it's random. I just have to reach in and grab some. All right. Well, I'll say that nobody gets this point, but apparently the maze isn't endless. The smiley face represents the end of the maze. Once the camera reaches it, a new maze is generated.
Oh yeah.
I had no idea.
Boo.
I found that out way after. Like I feel like we found that out as adults, looking back at 1995.
I only figured that out as an adult.
Yeah, like I don't
alright, so
ever knowing that. I remember the happy face, obviously, but you never connected that it was the end of the maze until you were like an adult looking back.
Would never have known. Okay, so we're in the games category. This is for Final Fantasy VII, the 1997 video game. Limit breaks are powerful combat moves harnessed by consuming items called hero drinks. Each character's limit breaks are unique. For example, Cloud has a sword base cross slash, Aerith has a healing wind, and Tifa has barrage attacks like meteor strike or dolphin blow.
Actually, I'm pretty sure it wasn't from hero drinks. It was from like being near death, like taking a lot of damage or something like that.
Fucking dead on Maya Papaya. That's a point for Maya.
Joe, Maya didn't say her name, so I'm gonna say the exact same thing and steal the point.
That's true. You didn't say your name. I'm gonna give it to you because thankfully there was
no one should take that from you.
Yeah, no, she nailed that. But yeah, don't forget to say your name first. But thankfully there was no one else who was saying an answer at the same time, so I clearly knew it was you, Maya. You are all good. Don't worry. Okay, so we are going to a sci-fi question. This is for the movie District 9.
I don't remember this movie.
I don't remember too much. I do remember this, but I don't remember. So 2009 film. A huge spacecraft containing over 1 million aliens arrives at Earth and hovers over Johannesburg. The South African government puts the aliens in a crowded camp known as District 9 for several months, while a new camp is prepared outside the city. The aliens are not allowed to leave District 9, use their own tech, or even reproduce without human permission.
Yeah, I've only seen it.
Actually, they're. Oh wait, are they?
Your name?
No, it's okay. If there's no competition, if like no one else is yelling over each other, then it turns into days. But yeah,
We can just use the pigeon.
Actually, they're allowed to reproduce. They just can't use their own tech.
no. Apparently, it seems as though they are not allowed to reproduce without permission.
Oh, interesting.
Joe,
According to this,
actually, there's multiple. Like they're not in one district. There's 8 other districts at least for there to be a 9th district for them to have aliens.
Pretty good
No,
guess.
I don't.
No, it was District 9 of Johannesburg. That's what
Get out of here. My answer is
He's
correct. I
guessing.
take the point.
All right. I'm going to read
Joe,
the
actually, there weren't millions of aliens or whatever you said. They were like refugees. They weren't showing up with a ship and a whole bunch.
No,
The ship
this
was
is
huge,
Joe's
though.
scattershot technique. It's just like, I'll hit something. I'm going to read the statement where we need correction, and that will hopefully help you guys zoom in a little bit more. The South African government puts the aliens in a crowded camp named District 9 for several months while a new camp is prepared outside the city.
Joe, they didn't build it. They weren't bothering to build a new camp.
It wasn't the government. It was like some multinational thing, wasn't it? Like some. I
That's
can't
not
remember.
what we're looking for in both cases, so unfortunately neither are.
Yes, man, we don't know. We took like 12 shots.
That's fine. You're good. You're good. The aliens aren't left in District 9 for several months. Instead, they're there for 28 years.
Good God.
So they've been there for a very long time. All right. Next question is a comic book question. And the topic is Mark Hamill. So, although he might be best known for hero Luke Skywalker, Mark Hamill is quite a prolific voice actor.
I'm actually Joker.
Yes.
Wait,
What
no,
about that?
He's in it, but I haven't gotten there yet, so that's not the answer we're looking for.
Get to it. Goddamn.
But I love it. Okay, I will continue from where I was. Mark Hamill is quite the prolific voice actor, voicing several DC villains, including the Joker, Armin Zola, and the Trickster. Ooh.
Actually, he didn't voice the Trickster.
He did.
Motherfucker.
I feel like he did. Yeah, I thought actually he didn't voice.
I'm gonna reread the question from the beginning because it's basically one whole sentence. Although he might be best known as the hero Luke Skywalker, Mark Hamill is quite a prolific voice actor, voicing several DC villains, including the Joker, Armin Zola, and the Trickster.
Oh, Joe, Armin Zola's from Marvel.
There we go. Thank you. Correct. Actually, Anita was guessing the same, but she didn't know which one it was, I think. Yes, Armin Zola is Marvel, not DC. So, good job. That's a point for Joe. Good job.
Anita.
Yeah, Anita got to it first. Anita did get to it first.
I was
That's
specific.
very true. Yeah, he was more specific, so that was why we're going to give the point to him.
Anita gets the point.
Anita, you were very close to getting that point as well. Well done. All right, so the next question is cartoons. This is for the 1989 film, The Little Mermaid. Oh God, I don't think I'm gonna get this right because I think I sound.
I don't get this. I'll just
You
try.
you take it.
This is basically only Jazzy, I think, who could possibly get it.
No pressure. No pressure.
No problem. All right, here we go. Ariel needs to kiss Prince Eric within 3 days, or she will become Ursula's slave. But Ursula, disguised as
Joe,
Vanessa,
actually, she just loses her voice forever.
Let her finish the sentence.
I'm
No,
not if
you
I know
can
what's
interrupt.
wrong.
I
You
was
can
waiting for you to
interrupt,
finish
but
the sentence.
that is actually correct. So
Yeah, I know it's
I mean,
correct.
I don't think it counts because you spoke too soon. I already knew that.
Well, you should have spoken.
You
No,
can't
it's
speak
not
before
correct.
she's
As in
done.
you corrected the statement. The statement that you tried to correct did not need to be corrected.
Well,
It's already
fine.
correct. So I'm going to continue on. But Ursula, disguised as Vanessa, uses a pendant containing Ariel's voice to charm Eric into marrying her instead. Ariel's friends save the day by crashing the wedding and breaking the pendant, allowing Eric and Ariel to share love's true kiss right before the deadline. Sounds good.
I mean, actually, as he said, she loses her voice. That's the only thing.
Yeah,
She doesn't have to be her slave. She just turns into like this creepy.
Yeah, they become.
Well,
yeah, I guess they're just
Sludgy
assuming
thing.
that. I guess they're assuming that that's like it's some kind of slavery, even though it's like it feels more like, I don't know, punishment, and just like you're stuck in that weird.
I don't know.
state
Is it going to be
forever.
nitpicky? Is it Joe? Actually, that she had to find true love's kiss, and it doesn't have to be specifically Prince Eric. It just he's the guy, because that's the movie.
You're kind of on the right trail. There's something wrong about the ending. I'll reread the last sentence to see if you guys can find it. But yeah, it is very nitpicky. Ariel's friends save the day by crashing the wedding and breaking the pendant, allowing Eric and Ariel to share love's true kiss right before the deadline.
Actually, I thought the pendant was broken because one of the birds had snapped it off her neck. It was like a necklace, and then it just fell to the ground and crashed. Does that count as them?
I mean,
Yeah, that's
the bird
that's
is her
the
friend.
friend saving it. So yeah.
Because I couldn't tell if it was Scuttle
Hold on, yeah.
friend
Maybe-
or it was a random bird.
Also,
maybe
Mark was
Joe,
asking, can we-
actually.
Sorry, I'm just answering Mark's thing. Can we say that we have to let you finish the question, our name first, and then say I'm actually? You can interrupt me at any time. So if I'm like mid-sentence and you already caught it, you could just go ahead and yell. The names are mostly for if people are talking over each other and I can't hear. But thankfully, everyone seems pretty stumped, so we're not having to do names. Anyway, Joe, go right ahead.
I feel like maybe it happened just after the deadline. I feel like the sun went down and then they kissed, but it's been a minute since I've seen this movie.
Joe got the point!
Boom!
They missed the deadline. Ariel turns back into a mermaid and is hauled away. Later, Triton turns her back into a human, though. So,
Nenners and I, the whole time, we're just looking like, I don't know what you expect from us. It's just, we're just gonna...
Yeah, I'm just doing the John Travolta meme.
You're just looking around like, I don't know. I don't know. Oh, God, it's amazing. Okay, next question is actually one of our drawing questions. So I will need you guys to get ready to draw and show them when we are ready. So for this one, it's called Leave Me Alone. Crack open your field guide. Draw the shapes of leaves from these trees. So it's 3 different trees. I need you to draw an oak leaf, a maple leaf, and a willow.
Oh, God.
You won't be scored on the quality of your art, but whether your shapes match the images close enough, essentially. So
knows what that looks like.
1 leaf from an oak tree, 1 leaf from a maple tree, and 1 leaf from a willow tree. If you cannot show them on camera, just go ahead and send them to our Discord, in the interest of cheese.
Here's all these questions are terrible. I want you to know that.
I don't really know.
Oh my God. I just picked random ones. Every time Nenners is here, I have to choose very specific ones, otherwise he'll be mad. Hey, Brandy, what's up, man? Are you okay?
What was it?
You doing all right? Oak leaf, maple leaf, and willow.
What the fuck is a willow? It looks like a rope. It's not even a leaf. They just
They do have leaves. Oh my God, Anita's hard question. Everyone knows nerds don't touch grass or leaves.
Exactly. Thank you, Anita. 100%.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I'm passing this one.
I'm in Rochester. There's not even leaves on our trees
yet. I'm not used to it at all.
All right, tell me which ones are which.
This is the oak.
Okay.
I don't know what this was, and that's the willow.
Okay. It's good enough to get like 1.5. I think that's pretty. It's not bad. All right. And that is. Let me see.
That's the oak. Kinda. I don't know what an oak looks like. I don't know.
That's.
You have to bring it closer, dude.
That's the maple leaf, because shout out to Canada. And then I don't know what fucking willows. I've just seen them from a distance. I've never messed with them.
Amazing.
Aren't they long?
All right.
With like a bunch of different baby leaves?
Possibly.
Yeah,
like I said, I've never been up to one. I'm just like, oh, that's a willow tree, and then just.
I kind of forgot how goofy oak trees were, and honestly, like all 3 of these are really kind of popular around here. So I feel like I would have known the shapes of these pretty well, at least. Maya and Joe. Okay, sounds good.
I'm trying to figure out how to freaking draw this thing, man. I can't.
Pen seems to be
Okay.
good. I might need to change the tip at some point. But for now, I just need to go back. I got it finally.
It's fucking goofy music.
What does a stupid fucking leaf look like? What is this shit?
All right, go to the Discord.
You didn't miss it.
Oh man, come on.
Interest of cheese. Go.
No.
Oh shit. Okay. From left to bottom right, I guess. What can you tell me which
At
one?
least I nailed the maple.
The maple, and then there's just a vine that is a willow, and then I just drew a leaf, and we'll hope it's similar to an oak.
Okay. I actually think I'm going to be giving a basically 3-way tie between all of you guys, because no one quite nailed the oak leaf, but the maple and willow were close enough. These are the leaf shapes that you're going for currently. So this is the oak. The center is maple.
That's just a blob.
And the right side. I know, that's what I was saying. I was like, I forgot how goofy looking oak leaves are.
Oh yeah.
So that's a point for Joe, Jazzy, and Nenners. But we're also going to be not drawing, but just write down essentially. We're gonna be not mixing match. You're gonna be matching names for this one, so just have it organized however you like. You can type it out. You can write it out, whatever you prefer. So this is called Who Goes There. You're going to write down the names I'm going to be asking, and then essentially you have to match their celebrities' birth names with their stage name, so to speak.
What the hell?
So these are the 4 celebrities. First one is Bruno Mars.
I don't know.
The next one is Bono. The next is Eminem. And the last one is Snoop Dogg. So, for these names, you need to match them to the real names that I'm going to be reading out loud right now. So,
Wait, hold on.
A.
You said Bruno Mars, Snoop Dogg, Bono, and who else?
Eminem.
Okay.
I like that they were in a different order than I read them in, because that blew my mind. I was like, wait, what? Oh, I got it. We're good. All right, yeah. So Bruno Mars, Bono, Eminem, and Snoop Dogg. So first one, category A is Marshall Mathers III. So go ahead and write A next down to whatever stage name you think that is. For B, we have Peter Hernandez. So write B down next to whichever stage name you think is Peter Hernandez. For C, we have Calvin Brodus Jr. So write C next to whoever you think Calvin Brodus Jr. is. And D is Paul Hewson. So go ahead and write down Paul, or D for Paul Hewson next to whichever celebrity you think that is. So I will go through each of you and you will let me know who you paired what with. I'm going to start with Nenners because he's cranky with me. So Nenners. Eminem, which letter did you assign him to?
A.
Bruno Mars.
Bruno Mars was assigned to B.
Snoop Dogg.
C.
And Bono.
D.
Flying colors, Nenners. Well done. I will move on to Maya Papaya after that. We'll once again reach back. What happened?
Look at her sheet, it's hilarious.
I know. Jazzy it's awesome.
My name.
Also, thanks for resubscribing, Frandy. All right, so Maya Papaya, Eminem.
A.
Bruno Mars.
B.
Snoop Dogg.
C.
And Bono.
D.
All right. Joe.
They're all wrong. If Nenners was right, I'm wrong.
All of
Everywhere.
them? Not a single
100%.
one?
I don't want. Those are you read me their names, then gave me a bunch of made up names, and said match them. I was like, all right. If you would like to know, I'll answer.
Sure. Yes, please. I would love to know. Who did you think was Eminem?
I mean, Eminem, I guessed last, so he was D because that's all I had left.
Which is Paul Hewson. Who did you think was Bruno Mars?
I had C down.
Which is Calvin Brodus.
Oh my god.
Snoop Dogg.
B.
Peter Hernandez. Which
Wait,
means
he's a fellow. He's a fellow.
which means you thought Bono was Marshall Mathers.
Yeah.
This is amazing.
I love you, Joe.
This is great.
I'm gonna assume, Jasmine, did you get all of those correct? Because I imagine you did.
Yeah.
Yeah, that looks correct. All right. That's a point for everyone but Joe.
I genuinely don't think I could name you any of their songs.
I thought this was gonna be really hard.
Peter Hernandez was Bruno Mars, Mark songs, if you were asking. And then Snoop looks like Peter Hernandez.
You know, Bruno Mars did Uptown
my-
Funk, didn't he? I know that. I know one.
God.
I know one song by one of them.
Oh my god.
And I know
Okay,
Eminem
I
did
was
Round the Outside. I don't know what it's from. I just know Round the
I
Outside.
was not ready for that.
Yeah. Eminem is a plan
Okay.
his initials, Marshall Mathers.
Yeah, MM.
Hmm,
That's
that
why I
makes-
was like, even if you don't know, like, I didn't make that, but yeah, it's fine.
I just looked at their
Don't worry.
stage names and went, Bono sounds pretentious enough to be a third of something.
Ironically not.
Oh my god. Okay, that was amazing. Thank you guys. That was hilarious. Our next question is statement, is horror, and it's The Mummy, the 1999 film.
qualifies as
Is
horror.
that scary?
I look, it's in
It's
the
an
horror
adventure,
genre.
maybe a comedy.
It was.
I don't
It's
watch
super
horror. I
adventure.
watch me
I
the month.
agree.
Iconic Brendan
I
Fraser.
don't remember ever being like,
Maybe that's some
iconic
blood
Yeah,
stuff
I
is
don't know.
was
gross.
the correct
I
answer.
don't know. Me and Foos loved it back in the
So
day.
good.
Anyway, Evie reads from the Book of the Dead, unwittingly resurrecting the evil Imhotep, who brings back the biblical plagues of Egypt. They learn Imhotep is invulnerable and unstoppable unless he can be turned mortal first by reading the Book of Amun-Ra.
Joe, actually, were they not the biblical plagues?
Apparently they were. That's not the part that
I was
needs
gonna
to
say
be
I don't remember all of the biblical ones, but it's been a minute.
Actually, they only had to throw the book at him.
And the weird thing is, you're strangely on the right track in that, like, something else, like, there was something else that they could fuck
Yeah.
with him.
Actually, I thought the Book of Amun-Ra was meant to send him back. So, like,
I believe
him
that.
dead.
I think that's true, but was he? Actually, you have to read it forwards. No, apparently that's how you gotta. I don't know if you gotta read it. I don't know.
this was the one with the weird CGI rock, right?
Yeah,
No,
it was his
that
first
No, that was the
series.
Scorpion King.
That's the Scorpion King.
No,
yeah,
no.
yeah. It's in this.
Yeah,
It was in here, really?
same series.
Yeah, yeah. Same, exactly, same franchise. But I'll reread the statement that has the correction needed at least. They learn that Imhotep, is invulnerable and unstoppable unless he can be turned mortal first by reading from the Book of Amun-Ra. One other hint, I guess. It's more something that he is afraid of as opposed to weak against. That was used against him in this fight.
Cats.
Texas?
I need your actually, girl.
Actually, wasn't he afraid of cats?
Yes. He fled when he saw one, and that was how they were able to kind of turn the tides and read the book and blah 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 blah. So that is a shady point for Jasmine because I helped you get there, and I don't know where my marker is. It's gone. Cats. Yeah, exactly, Mark. Perfect. Perfect. There we go. Okay, so the next question is for comic books, and we're going Age of Ultron, the 2015 film. Did I read this one before? I don't remember. I don't think so.
Why did you say comic books and then talk about film?
Yeah.
Actually,
Because it's a comic film. That's what they're doing. Listen, I'm just reading off the cards. Don't
I
yell
wasn't
at
sure
me.
if that was part of the actually.
No, yeah. Actually, that's a movie. I think I read this one. I just randomly picked it, but I might have put this back in. Let me know if I've read this one as I'm going through it. Jarvis was named after Tony Stark's childhood butler, Edwin Jarvis. The acronym stands for Just a Rather Very Intelligent System. Although Ultron destroys Jarvis, Tony has a backup which he uploads into a synthetic body, creating an entity known, which becomes the Vision.
Joe, actually, it's not a backup of Jarvis, and the intent was not to make the Vision.
Right.
Correct. That's basically all of it. Good
Yeah.
job, Joe. Back on the board after having many questions in which he was just confused. Yep, that was it. That was
was
it.
it.
Next question is another 80s and 90s category, and this is for Mario. Nintendo's famous first mascot appears in the arcade game Donkey Kong, but he is a carpenter, and the instructions refer to him only as Jumpman. He returns as a hero in the sequel, Donkey Kong Jr., but this time with now familiar name Mario. Then, in Mario Brothers, Mario Bros, I guess, which is set in a sewer, his profession is changed to plumber.
Joe, actually, Mario Bros. Isn't set in a sewer.
I know, it is.
Actually, wasn't he always a plumber?
No, I guess he wasn't. I did know about the Jumpman thing, but apparently his plumber title only came in the Mario Brothers. Flandy, actually, he doesn't return. Hold on one second. I'm just double checking. He does return, unfortunately, Flandy. I'm just making sure I was reading it correctly, but yes, he does return.
Jumpman sounds like he should be in Mega Man.
Yeah, for real. For real.
I have no idea.
Yeah.
I'm out
I'll
of
reread the statement that needs correcting. He returns as the hero in the sequel, Donkey Kong Jr., but this time is with the now familiar name Mario.
I guess Joe. Actually, he's not the hero in Donkey Kong Jr.
Yeah, I knew you were gonna guess your way into it. Apparently, in this one, the player controls Donkey Kong's son, who is trying to rescue his father from the clutches of evil Mario. So apparently, at some point, Mario was evil and stole him.
There's a convoluted
Essentially.
history with Mario and Donkey Kong before Donkey Kong joined the good guys for good.
I had no fucking idea, to be quite honest. I not a clue about that particular one. So I had a feeling we were gonna have to guess our way through that, and we did. So there's that.
Jokes on you, I knew the whole time, and I was just playing cool.
Nailed it. You done nailed it. All right, this next question is from the fantasy genre, and it is Lord of the Rings. The 1954 book series.
Sorry, I have to.
We lost Jazzy. We lost her. Okay, so the 1954 book series. Sauron convinced elven smiths to craft 19 rings of power, then secretly forge the One Ring so he could dominate those who wore them. However, by the time Frodo obtains the One Ring, all the other rings have been lost or destroyed, except the 9 that were given to mortal men and corrupted
Joe,
them into the
actually,
rings.
some of the other rings are available.
Yes.
Galadriel has
Yep.
one, as well as
Exactly.
Gandalf.
Yep.
God
yep.
damn it!
There's
I knew that.
There's one other person who has a ring. Can you name that one as well?
It
Oh
might be Elrond, but I don't remember.
no.
It is Elrond.
Oh, all right, there you go.
Longer. I thought it was for the Galadriel. Oh no, but they're two different types of elves. Yeah. Never
He
mind.
did. He named Galadriel. It's 3 rings made for elven kings still exist and are worn by Gandalf, Elrond, and Galadriel. So, oh my god! For just a second, I was like, "There's
Oh
a
my
spider on your screen."
What is up?
Yes, yes, we're streaming.
Yeah, what's up, man?
We're
going
streaming.
on?
What's up, guys?
What's up?
How's it going?
You're
It's
Good,
How
how
are
are
you?
when we're live. We're streaming.
Oh,
It's all good. No, that's fine. Let's see this.
That's all right. You're
glorious
just
hair
eyebrows,
in
so if you
action.
don't want to be on camera, are you
I look
really?
like
No, I-
Groucho Marx over here.
I think she's more worried that like he's interrupting, but that is great. And also, Mark, yeah, this is we're learning some new things as well. I mean,
Yeah.
I am in some cases. But
right.
how are you doing?
bye, guys.
Okay, bye. Good talk. Oh my god! Thanks for dropping in, says Mark.
He just got in.
He's awesome. Amazing. I love it. Hold on, I'm just double checking one more thing. Pardon me.
It's bugging me that I can't
That's how
remember
he
the
was
name
able-
of that ring now. 'Cause I know it.
Uh-oh,
The ring of
jeez.
it's the ring of fire, but I don't remember what it's called.
Let's go.
Something with an
Alright.
A.
Hold on one second. All right. This is going to be a throwback, which I have a feeling we're just going to guess our way through it because it's a Batman question, but it's in reference to the 1966 TV series. And I know it exists, and I know clips of it, but I don't know anything else from it. So yes, exactly. That's the energy we're looking for here. And it's so zany that I'm reading the first sentence and I'm like, this all could be true. I don't know. Anyway,
Was 11.
yeah.
To the fucking perspective.
Yep. All right, so here we go. One of Batman's more bizarre foes is King Tut, a reincarnation of the ancient Egyptian pharaoh. He believes that Gotham City is actually Thebes and regularly tries to take it over. In one episode, King Tut tunnels into the Batcave and discovers Batman's secret identity, but then forgets everything after a rock falls on his head. So it's like all of this could be true. I don't know. What the hell?
Actually, it wasn't New York City. It was Gotham City.
Well, Gotham City was said.
Was it?
I was like,
Yeah.
did I say New York City? I was like, damn,
No.
it's not anywhere on this card. And I
No,
said that.
you said Gotham.
Okay. Yeah,
Joe,
that's right.
actually, he discovered Batman's identity through like a charity event or some nonsense. It wasn't because he tunneled in anyway.
that apparently is the correct part of the statement.
Yeah. Judging me.
I will read the incorrect spot one more time so we can try and figure it out. One of Batman's more bizarre foes is King Tut, a reincarnation of the ancient Egyptian pharaoh. He believes that Gotham City is actually Thebes and regularly tries to take it over. Oh my god. I just read the correction. What the fuck? This fucking goofy ass fucking show. All right, I'll just
wait, no, hold on. What was the city? Thebes?
I
Thebes
don't
is
understand how
Thebes is in Greece. So would it be Cairo maybe?
Yeah, like
Nope. Apparently that part is accurate.
Joe, actually, King Tut is not one of his more bizarre villains.
I think King Tut is one of his more bizarre villains.
It has to be.
Actually, it was
gonna say
Alexander the
Villain
Great.
Joe, actually, he is not. He doesn't think it's Thebes. He just it's like he's a reincarnation, so Gotham is a reincarnation. He wants to make it Thebes rather than thinking it is Thebes as it was.
No, unfortunately not.
actually, it was not King Tut, but it was some Greek character.
Holy shit! I'm gonna give that to you. King Tut is not a reincarnation of the pharaoh. He's an Egyptologist who hit his head and believes he's King Tut. So I'm gonna give that to Jasmine for pulling the correct thread.
Who's?
I'm
gonna kindly ask.
I'm literally pulling random ones, my guy.
we at least were alive for some of these.
Oh my goodness! All right, I will. We have 3 questions left. I will personally pick them out because Nedges is being a crazy.
To be fair, the clue was in the question because he hit his head to forget.
He hit his head. That's why I was dying because I was like, "Oh my god, this is relevant to things I said earlier," and would not have thought about that at all. But let me pick stuff that Nenus would definitely know, so he can stop feeling sad about himself.
But no, I want somebody in here to reasonably
we're
have a
gonna
chance.
pick some that
I've got
you
6
know,
points, my
Nenus.
guy, and like 4 of those
worry.
are from
That's
knowing
because
stuff.
you fish, man.
I think
It's
for
4 of them are
I
from
have
knowing
6.
stuff. I don't know. I counted 6.
I have 5.
I'll give you. You got the Gandalf one, 100%.
Oh my god.
I got mermaid. It took me a few tries to remember, but I didn't know that.
Took a while, but he got there. He got there. Let me see. Hold on. No, I got it. No, I get one. Hold on.
I'm just saying, no one's had
I
to.
don't remember anymore.
No one's had to say their name because we're all like, "What the fuck?"
Huh? Yeah.
That's more or less my
ones that
point.
I was randomly picking were well, no, we did that one. I'm pretty sure we did that one. Okay, actually, I feel like Jasmine's gonna snatch this up before anyone else gets a chance, but I can't pass this opportunity while I have
I
her
get
here.
the pressure on me, Foos. What
I'm
about
putting pressure on you, girl, because
all
this is about The Nightmare Before Christmas, so don't mess up. 1993 film. Jack Skellington, also known as the Pumpkin King, decides to take over for Santa and dispense his own Halloween-themed gifts and decorations. But when Jack sees a terrified child crying, he realizes he made a mistake and decides to give Christmas back to Santa Claus and go back to scaring people for Halloween.
Actually, he gets shot out of the sky.
That's
and
from,
goes through a life crisis before he realizes the error of his ways, and he thought a terrified child was a good thing.
Yup, that's correct. Jazzy gets the point. Yeah, he doesn't change his mind after seeing a sad child. He changes it after getting shot down by the military.
Yeah, literally.
Which I think, would get anybody. It's like, oh my god, Flanny, get out
He's
of here.
the Pumpkin King,
Actually,
Anita.
yeah, he is the Pumpkin King. He is a skeleton, but he is
Jack, the Pumpkin King.
Oh my
Yeah.
god. Do not get us started, Nenners, because we will not stop. Let's see if I can grab another one. Okay. This is from The Matrix, the first movie, the 1999
Nenners, you
film.
gotta get this.
If you don't get this, Nenners, I'm gonna
Shame
kick you out
upon
of here.
you.
Shame.
Okay, right. Yep.
The biggest shame, Nenners. We're going from you not knowing the answers to if you get them wrong, we can't talk to you again. So,
Excellent.
1999
Sounds good.
film. The Oracle is a program in The Matrix who appears as a kindly cookie baking woman. Morpheus believes in her prophecies and has brought each member of his crew, including Neo, to have their fortunes read by her. However, he advises Neo not to share what she has told him to the rest of the crew.
Joe, actually, he doesn't bring everyone there, just the people he pulls out of the Matrix.
Nenners, you cut off, all right? You cut off, Nenners. That's it. This is your question. You've been bothering me about questions.
No, I like that question. That's
yeah,
great.
that's
It was like, achievable.
Get the fuck out, Dennis. Get the fuck.
No, I'm not cranky about that.
You're good, you're good, you're good.
1952 Batman King Tut bullshit needs to get the fuck
Get
out.
to guess your way through it. It's fucking hilarious.
I'm not wrong about that.
All right, Nunners, I have one last question, and this one I actually pulled at random, so I'm not going to swap it out for anything else.
Why are you pointing at Nenners then? Why
Because
you calling only him?
he was alive, and that was the stipulation. This is The Princess Bride, the 1987 film,
Oh,
which I know we have watched many times in our childhood. So,
I forgot some of it, but it is a good movie.
I remember Big Red.
Yeah, so to evade Prince Humperdinck, Wesley and Buttercup venture into the fire swamp, which is infamous for its two terrors, the flame spurts and the rodents of unusual size. Buttercup's dress gets scorched, and Wesley is bitten by a giant rat, but they successfully traverse the swamp, only to be captured as they emerge.
Anita.
Anita fucking nailed it! Anita, you got a point. She ain't even in here. Yes, there are 3 terrors, not 2. Can you name the third terror? If you can. I'm giving you the point anyway. Anita's on the board. I don't give a shit. But if anyone can name the third, I would be, I don't know, very impressed, I guess. We have Anita on the board with 1 question. Or 1 statement that she got right. Actually, I do have one last one, which is the shiny questions. But we'll get to that in just a bit.
Third terror.
Did someone? Yes, it was called lightning sand. I'm gonna give that to you because you typed in quicksand, but it's called lightning sand, and that's fucking close enough. So Anita, well done, very well done. Okay, so our last question is a matching question once again. This is a shiny question, which means it's a little bit harder than the other questions because we're doing a little bit of matching and blah blah blah. So here, this one is called "Who Said That?" Units in real-time strategy games love to talk. Personally, I like clicking on the sheep until they explode. Write down these games: Dune 2000, StarCraft 2, Age of Empires, and Warcraft 3. I'll read them one more time just to make sure everyone has them. Dune 2000, StarCraft 2, Age of Empires, and Warcraft 3. All right, so once you have those down, match the phrases to the game in which they appear by writing A, B, C, or D next to each game's title. So, the very first quote is, "Well, butter my biscuit." The next one is Wololo. It's literally WOLOLO. Never heard that one. It's gonna be hard to not read this one. The third, this is C, excuse me. C is for Lordaeron. And D is for the Duke.
Oh, shit.
I see very focused nunners. I'm going to read through the quotes one more time. So for A, it's, "Well, butter my biscuit." B is Wololo. C is for Lordaeron. And D is for the Duke. All right, so we're going to work our way through everybody. I'm just going to start with Maya because she has a very pretty dress on.
I missed a 0 of gaming, so I'm just throwing them out.
Yeah, let's go. So for StarCraft 2, what letter did you put next to it?
I just put A. I don't know. I'm just guessing.
That's correct.
Oh,
Age of Empires?
Age of Empires had D.
Okay. Unfortunately, not correct. Warcraft 3?
Had B.
Unfortunately, incorrect. And Dune?
Was C. Yeah, I don't.
Okay. Well, you got 1 out of 4, so that's still a thing. I'm gonna go to Jazimandius.
Oh.
StarCraft 2. What letter did you always? Yep. All right. A is correct. Age of Empires, unfortunately, is incorrect. Warcraft 3 is correct. And the Dune 2000. So, Jazzy, you got 2 out of 4 correct. We'll go to Nenners next. StarCraft 2.
Shut up.
I can't.
Okay.
Nope.
StarCraft 2 was A.
Age of Empires.
Age of Empires was B.
Okay, and Warcraft 3.
C.
And for the June Dune.
D.
Then it is all 4 for 4 correct. Which brings us to Joe.
The Duke is
Did
what
you
turned
have
it
the
around
same?
because I thought it was B, and then I heard Duke, and I was like, "Oh,
No, I
Duke.
knew Duke was. I got 2 of them.
Yeah.
Right? StarCraft, I had A.
Okay, yep.
What are my biscuits?"
Uh,
Blood or mom?
that was process of eliminations. What was
Yep.
next?
Okay, yeah. So StarCraft 2, you had what letter?
A.
Okay, Age of Empires.
I had C.
Yeah,
Which is
that's
wrong.
The Warcraft 3. Yeah, you got Age of Empires and Warcraft 3 mix. It was
Yeah.
was-
Except, isn't that the sound a Murloc makes?
I mean, I think
No,
it's-
that's more like.
That's all I could think of.
Yeah,
Because
I don't.
Age of
I have
Empires
no
didn't
idea.
sound like nonsense to me. I was like, this is not going to be
Yeah.
a weird sound or butter my biscuits. It's going to be one of the other ones. And For the Duke is definitely Dune.
I knew
Strange.
for Lordaeron and Butter My Biscuits. I think we played a little bit of Age of Empires, but I don't remember Wololo in there, so I was very
I didn't
confused.
either. I process of elimination that.
Yeah, so this all just boils down to Nenner's correct with 4 for 4. So good job, Nenner's.
Yes, if I missed that one, I would have to unalive myself. That wouldn't.
Oh my god. No, everything's fine, Nenner's. You pass. It's all good. But I will read off the final scores as I am out of questions or statements and such. But we have Maya with 2 points, Joe with 6 points, Nenners with 3, and Jazzy with a very close behind 5 points, and Anita with 1. Good job, Anita.
I thought Anita got
who
food,
managed-
didn't she?
I think she got partially correct, but someone was more correct.
Okay.
I was
So
more
that
correct.
was why she didn't get one, but she was on the right trail for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's the final scoreboard. Good job, everybody. If that will show at any point in time. This was fun, and this is our time where I have to scramble and find someone to raid, which means I'm gonna ask everyone to stall for me while I go and find somebody to raid.
Join us next time, and we're gonna have the Darkest campaign. It's gonna be a whole episode, and we're gonna talk about. The whole episode is gonna be a discussion of the Darkest campaign. What makes things dark? What lines are crossed?
Again, I don't think
Yeah.
we need a
We were just gonna talk
conversation.
about Foos.
Booze handed me a guy who'd already been dead once. All he had left was boiling hate for the man that killed him. Everything else, his wife, his daughter, were taken from him. And when he finally got the chance for revenge, it was lost, and the people helping him wandered off to go to a fucking charity ball because they don't have the guts to do what's needed. So he got some other boys, and they walked in and just found out he has infinite lives. And the only reason they're not all dead yet is because the boss wants to play with them. That's far worse than just dying. Just,
I
I
like
let
the
you live.
wandered off part. I was just like, we got distracted by a butterfly and just wandered off.
No, we're gonna go attend the
Basically.
royal kidnapping, where this guy kidnaps every fucking king in the realm.
Good, who needs
realms.
them? You know what they're not doing? Stopping guys with cheating lives and infinite weapons and nonsense. So what good are they?
Yep.
Once
In the
they're all
meantime-
gone, we'll hold a vote, elect a new guy.
We're searching for a place to raid. Also, Joe, you're gonna be online tomorrow, right? Or
Yeah.
is that not happening? Okay. Every
Yeah.
time, I feel like so many times when I shout you out,
It's
you're
happened to you once that you got burned, and that every time.
No, it was at least twice. It was at least twice for sure.
No, about that. But
Spell
no, we're
Logic
here
tomorrow, where they're trying to save the world, but
Yeah.
they're broke. And,
Technically, we're just enjoying the fact we didn't get killed by curtains, even though we nearly got killed by curtains. And
Oh God, that was rough when I went to
Yeah.
go.
we're gonna make our way up to the next town over.
You guys were like swapping dirt naps. It was not good.
No, that is the second time we've had a fight that only won because somebody crit on a death save to pop back up and do some shit.
Yeah, it is nonsense. It's crazy. All right, I'm struggling to find someone right
He's
now.
struggling.
So you know a lot of
It's
them.
alright. I'm just saying, I've been in multiple Nenners games, and ain't none of those have I had a character who's resorted to drinking himself to death. Because that's where Garai's at.
Oh, yeah, pretty much. That's. Oh my goodness. Okay, I found one. Let me just see how long they've been on for. So if they're almost done, oh, I don't know. I know we're gonna.
I was almost curtains for the whole group. Thank you, Mark.
Boo!
This is when the no pun stuff is,
Sure.
helpful. No, but Mark, you're awesome.
Not allowed.
Thank you everyone for hanging out. Mark and Anita, it was super fun having you in chat and playing along with us. We're gonna go raid D&D gens. One thing that just kind of cracked me up about this is the Dungeon Master is labeled the Daddy Master instead of the Dungeon Master. So that's who we're gonna go say hello to. Please give them some love, and as a general, I guess, update, this channel is going to be a little bit off kilter for the next like 2-3 weeks or so. We have a lot of various schedules that are coming up and about, but we'll keep you updated about that and stuff. But in the meantime, be lovely, have a wonderful time, and go show D&D gens some love. Thank you as always. And we'll talk to you later. Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.